Like
who's
Refined
gonna win?
Yeah, like Refined Hornet is an extremely consistent runner. He's in the seat of the week every week, and Renontril obviously he's like gays on the internet, all over Grinder, right? Like he grinds.
Very
I
true.
don't
Very true.
I don't know who can win.
It's a tough choice. I mean, Hornet's been around for a very, very, very long time. Like I think starting season 2 even. So definitely has the experience. I feel like Ren is a more recent addition to the pantheon of strong randomizer players. But like you said, he just grinds like crazy. I don't think in the last year anybody's played more randomizer than him. So
yeah.
In the last 365 days, I would give Ren the over as far as whoever's played the most randomizer in the world even. So as far as we're aware, maybe there's somebody playing 10 hours a day off stream, but...
Yeah, like not Classic Advent. I don't know why his name popped into my head. Refined Hornet. He's always a dark horse, isn't he? Like he just kind of he shows up and he does really well, despite the fact that you never hear from him.
Yep, that is very true. I mean, he's entered a lot of these tournaments and he's always placed relatively high. I want to say, like always reaching top 8s at the very least. So
yeah,
but as of now, I don't think either of these players have a official tournament win or anything like that, but not that there's been very many players to get tournament wins. And we've had like maybe over the course of the randomizer's history, so over 5 years now, like I don't know, maybe 10, 12, maybe a dozen tournaments total. So
yeah, there was the first tournament, and that was basically immediately after the randomizer started being produced by Wild Mouse, and then like it's basically been 2 per year, one in the summer and then one in the winter. And then, it's kind of a scheduled thing and now. So they both went and got the Soul of Wolf at the very beginning, which is interesting. It looks like their starting weapon was a rapier, so I guess they're looking to find something a little bit better before starting the first bosses. I don't remember what's up here. Why is Ren dive kicking off the bats? Ren is trying to dive kick off of the bats to get gravity boots early.
Oh, but the sword is missing. Oh, okay. So normally there's the thrust sword in that location that we just saw Hornet attempt to check, and that thrust sword is what gives you access to the ability to possibly get the oh no.
Oh, he didn't hold X long enough there.
Yeah. You could also do the untransform shield trick. So if you untransform from wolf form and hold the shield out, you move forward a couple pixels. It's one of the few ways to actually gain horizontal movement while untransforming midair.
That's wild. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, it's very, very niche. It doesn't come up in like literally any speedruns, but it is a movement option that does exist. And just like that, we're seeing a pretty big advantage just from saying, screw it, we'll go fight the guys. So we're going to have to see if 1, Ice Brand even spawns, and 2, does it make up the difference between just using spells,
Yeah. Well, like, keep in mind, I think I know what Renontril is going for here. It's something that we've seen from a few racers during the tournament. It wasn't in the first match that you and I commented on before.
Yeah.
It was in some of the other ones where literally just, we're going to go for Sword Bro and see if that works. But he didn't go get missed. He just went for gravity boots?
Yeah, mist is at castle entrance, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting for sure. But I mean,
yeah,
he doesn't get the thrust sword there. I mean, that sword doesn't have like hardly any stats anyway, so I don't know. When I was doing testing of the Ice Brand is there. It has a random chance to not spawn, so that's good.
That's right.
But yeah, when I was doing testing, I found that like you can consistently get like 15-minute speedrun times if you just use spells and whatever starting weapon. Like it ended up not mattering that much. What ended up mattering is having money for the shop at the very end to kill Shaft and Dracula quickly. The only boss that really slows you down a lot is like Beelzebub. Just not having a strong weapon for Beelzebub can maybe lose you a minute. But like Ren definitely spent way over a minute just to get the setup for the Ice Brands, and I don't think it's going to save him a minute on Beelzebub or on Galamoth or Beelzebub either.
Absolutely not. Now, had he gone for Sword Bro, maybe he would be able to make up that time because, Zorlo in your hands does amazing amounts of damage.
It's one of the better weapons in the game for sure. It's like an S tier weapon that you never see because nobody ever levels up the sword card all the way.
That's right. So, in that case, it would be better for him to have just gone and checked for Mist instead of going for Ice Brand. But I think he realized that he had already wasted too much time just trying to get to Gravity Boots.
Yeah, that is interesting. I wonder why the Gravity Boots play was on top of mind as opposed to just checking for the Thrust Sword if you're going to go for that strat. But, who knows? And at the end of the day, it's just the preliminary boss rush. You don't get a win under your belt here and get points towards the set. It's mostly just for the advantage of counterpicking, and maybe Ren just doesn't really mind playing it this way. Maybe Ren is I just want to play it safe to finish, but if I don't win, it's not that big of a deal because you just lose a little bit of priority on the counterpicking phase. But
yeah, and there is strategy to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The picks and counterpicks, the bans and the strikes. Doing that in the order based off of the boss rush was not only a move to get our players warmed up, right? They're also doing this rush to put their hands into a working order before the first match.
Yeah, it is a nice warm up for sure. It's relatively quick. You're getting familiar with all the bosses. You're doing some very general shield dashing movement. It's a good warm up for sure. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. So it's simultaneous warm up and coin flip there.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it is skill based for sure. It's the same seed that both players are given the same equipment, the same starting gear, the same round of bosses. Boss RNG usually doesn't matter that much. Very rarely does boss RNG come into play, I want to say, because most bosses can just be outright manipulated based off of what you're doing. So.
And enough of our player base, you've spoken on how good our player base is before, and it rings true in these boss rushes where it's you see our players generally using the same tactics to enter into and fight bosses. So most of the time, again, the boss RNG, it's going to be the same for both players because they're both using the same tactics.
Yeah. I mean, we are seeing a difference in weapons here, and Succubus is one of the weirder ones with RNG because it if she decides to do her shadow clone jutsu and fill the screen, it does waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
But, most of the time she ends up dying before that becomes a problem. I mean, it just goes to show how powerful just Tetra Spirit is as a spell. It's one of those things where once you have the knowledge of Tetra Spirit, Symphony of the Night is no longer a difficult video game, ever.
Yeah, Tetra Spirit just is way strong.
It's way overtuned in the fact that you just get access to it for free for just starting the game and having enough MP for it. It's a knowledge check thing. It's really cool. On your first playthrough, you don't know it exists, and then you find out, wait, I could have been doing this the whole time? That's so cool. And then on future playthroughs, you're just, a god at the game.
Now, here we see Renantral is catching up fairly quickly despite his initial time loss. Refined Hornet has not been slacking on these bosses. He's been doing very well with fists and spells, but Renantral is just eking it out on every boss.
Oh, this is probably where the time differential is going to come into play. You got to switch back to the rapier, yeah. For phase 2 Alrox, you want to use a sword. Your fists just don't have enough range, and his hitboxes are so janky and weird. Ren opting to use the vial stack here. Does he have access to another vial stack, maybe?
I don't think so. I'm wondering what he's planning for Trio.
Yeah, I don't see another vial stack opportunity in his inventory. I love saving it for Trio personally, because Trio is in my opinion, probably the most annoying boss without a specific overpowered weapon. Not necessarily because they're difficult, but they just are spread out and they're annoying. Yes. So it just takes a lot of time. Alrox does go down, and Ren does now take the lead here. So
yeah, you and I have discussed the issues of Trio before, and basically, yeah, they would be the hardest boss if you're under-equipped for them, just because of the wide variety of techniques, where their locations are spread out to.
It gets so
chaotic on the ceiling.
Yeah, it gets so chaotic so fast. And being aware of all of their locations all at once and what they're capable of can definitely be, difficult to say the least. But we are coming up on the great equalizer, Richter Belmont. We have seen other racers struggle versus Richter, but Ren gets the loop started, breaks out, but his equipment is strong enough that he's not going to like risk dying right away. So that's good at the very least. I mean, yeah, they have solid defenses. So.
Mm-hmm. Now here's something interesting that I didn't know that Refined Hornet didn't know this. He doesn't know that if you gravity boot above Granfaloon, all the bodies just disappear. You don't need to kill them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like pretty unintuitive, but once you know about it, it's in your repertoire for sure. Also, most of the time, Granfaloon goes down relatively quickly with just a few Tetra Spirits, but I think he had low MP going into this fight, so he's been struggling to get the last couple of hits in towards the core. I mean, Granfaloon should be going down soon. There he goes. And now Renan is already in the second castle and found a rune sword to back up his damage. That's going to increase his DPS quite a bit, honestly.
It's always a treat to be able to see some of these other random weapons pop up in Boss Rush. Now, you know, we put the safe rooms in Boss Rush on the chance that these weapons would show up. And when they finally do, it's always one of those moments of like...
It's nice, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Rune Sword, or really any of the throwing swords or Chakram or anything like that. Like, they are a nice benefit to have, especially in your offhand. Because, like, especially in Boss Rush, you're not really, like, shield dashing around to go fast. So your offhand can just, you know, be extra damage. Like, the animation of throwing the sword out is basically free. You don't have to worry about it. Oh, no.
Speaking of free, here's a free Akmadon.
I still am not a big fan of the Hellfire strat. Like, if it
does put you in close.
Yeah, if it killed him, like, consistently, very quickly, I would be more in favor of it, but it doesn't kill him unless you do, like, 2 or 3 of them, so you're gonna have to weaken him anyways, and then at that point, why even start up the spell? Just fight him, I guess. Especially if you have Rune Sword, you can just use that to damage him from afar, do some Tetra Spirits on top of that. That's probably fast enough.
And it keeps you out of distance of the poison cloud.
Yeah. I mean, there is a consistent manip where you, like, get him locked in the arm throw animation where he, like, swings his arm out, and then he'll never, like, spawn the poison clouds, but
yeah,
it can be tricky, because if you mess up the timing of it. Ideally, you just find sub-weapons to kill him with, honestly. Like, if you find a Holy Water in any of those safe rooms, you're chilling. And yeah, just like that. I mean,
he did have the Jizz Hand available. I don't understand why he took the daggers instead.
You know, it might be one of those things where if it's not Holy Water, just don't bother. Like, don't even worry about it. Because the other sub-weapons, they have their place for sure. Like, if I see Axe, I consider picking it up just for Beelzebub. Because, like, Axes do, like, a good amount of damage to him, and it keeps you in a relatively safe position to not get, like, owned. Because Beelzebub is one of those bosses that, like, yeah, you can Vile stack him, but it's, like, sometimes a little bit awkward, because if, like, you despawn the Monster Vial... Oh! I should stop talking and point out that Ren almost died to death, phase 2.
Like, are you okay, Ren?
Uses the high potion, he's fine. Does the Soul Steal. Took damage from the body, which is not as damaging as, like, the sides themselves, and he's fine.
Right. Oh, he was 1 hit away. It's always when they're 1 hit away that they start to get you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they know.
And honestly, that kerfuffle is enough to get Hornet kind of back in there. Like, he's caught up quite a bit. Just using the Rune Sword, saying, screw it. Like, I got range. I don't need to get up close. I don't need to risk taking damage.
Right.
And honestly, I think Rune Sword does more damage than Ice Brand. So looping with Rune Sword is probably ideal. Yeah, 69 damage. Very nice.
And it's easier, especially here on Doppelganger.
Yeah, because even if he breaks out of it, it's like you just throw the Rune Sword again. It's not that big of a deal. And we're seeing, like, not that far off as far as total time spent. I think it's like maybe a 10-second difference.
I remember hearing rumors in 1998, 1999. My best friend shows up and he's like, dude, when you're playing SotN, you have to go farm the Dodo Bird. And I was like, why do I have to farm the Dodo Bird of all things? And he's like, no, go farm the Dodo Bird. It's got this drop. It's called the Rune Sword. And it's even more powerful than the Chrysogrim. And I was like, okay. So I went and farmed it, got the Rune Sword. And I was like, this is not as powerful as the Chrysogrim. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
it's still good. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. Oh, honestly, both of these players, yeah, being able to hit both Grant and Ralph himself at the same time might be enough. No, Ren is still ahead, but only by a few seconds.
Yeah.
Hornet has caught up tremendously here.
You know, it's interesting because I haven't seen Hornet use his vial stack at all.
Yeah, I mean, probably should use it here at the very least if you're saving it, or maybe Hornet is maybe an older school player who is like not. Oh, maybe he's listening to the stream. He's considering. Oh, with the power of Sire.
Oh God, power of Sire. That'll
do it. Yeah. Never mind. He knows the strats, and that's enough. And he's just back in the lead. Proper use of the vial stack there. Ren's not terribly far behind. It's going to come down to damage on Galamoth here and setting up the Infinite. If either of these players mess it up, they'll be in a world of hurt. Runesword does double hit. Is Ren comfortable enough using both? Oh, but he got bad RNG. At the start here, he's going to have to wait for these balls to leave. Meanwhile, Hornet's just doing damage the whole time. Ren does get to like double hit there with the Ice Brand mixed in with the Rune Sword, so maybe that'll be the difference maker. But for some reason, I'm trying to see why is Hornet's doing 87 damage while Ren's is only doing 64? Are they missing an equipment item that I'm not seeing?
Maybe he got an attack potion or
maybe
a strength potion.
Very
if you're going to use a potion, use it here, right? Like,
oh yeah, I mean it's going to be the most the best way to save time for sure.
Over the course of 8,000 hit points, an attack potion can make a lot of difference.
It's still incredibly close. It's within seconds. It's going to come down to who shops faster, honestly.
Yeah.
As well as, I guess, who has more money. But,
I mean, from Renantrel, we may see him skip shop altogether.
It looks like... No? He's just checking the stuff out here. I didn't see what Hornet bought. Combat knife? Do people not
is good.
Do people not know about the guaranteed power of sires? Are they just ignoring the power of sires? You can just vial stack both of them and they're dead like so fast. Am I crazy? Yeah, monster vial right there. Another monster vial. Isn't it? Yeah, power of sires right there. What are you? Okay. I mean, that might be the difference maker, but to be fair, Red is spending a lot of time in the menu. And meanwhile, it's not going to make up the time. That's kind of a blunder, honestly. I mean, I don't know. From my perspective, when I was doing testing, I just knew that, okay, there's always a power of sires. There's always monster vials somewhere in the shop. If I have enough money for like 5 monster vials, 5 power of sires, that's all you need. Just go.
Yep. But here we are.
Oh, man. And the prediction on my channel was very heavily Ren favored, too, for this race. So this is coming down to it. As long as Hornet doesn't take any unnecessary damage here, I don't see him losing this. The amount of time it takes for Dracula to show up does take a while, but wait, will this not one cycle, maybe? Uh-oh. If this doesn't one cycle...
If this doesn't one cycle, then Ren wins. Oh, no.
Maybe not. I mean, because the vial stacks, they take a while. It's a slow one cycle.
It is a slow one cycle.
Oh, but he has double Kingstone. He's going to have to hurry this up, not spend too much time in the menus.
No, Refined Hornet's got it.
It's still relatively close.
He's about to get Doritos, and he killed Dracula. Yep, there it is.
Huge win for Hornet. Very, very close. It looks like they were just about like 10, 15 seconds apart, which is crazy considering how different they played the randomizer as a whole. So,
yeah, that was intensely good.
Oh yeah,
Right.
About 15 seconds difference according to the race bot. So wow, close one.
Yep. Let's go up there and see what their strikes and bans are.
Sounds good.
I've been looking forward to this tournament for a while now. You know, I think you already know I announced this before Jupiter's tournament began, 6 months ago. And, you know, as we've gone along, I've kind of rehashed some of the rules, added new ones, taken away others. And I think, the overall model for the tournament isn't that bad.
No, not at all. And I mean, at the very least, the idea of like, hey, we have all this new stuff, let's like showcase it in a community event, at the very least is like, you know, very, very awesome. Like, there's so many people that are like coming into the scene and like maybe they're not 100% sure about like what is SotN Randomizer all about, and there's so many different ways to play Randomizer. I mean, I'm doing my whole series of playing through all the different presets, and there's almost 40 different presets, all of which are relatively different. There's a couple that share DNA, like Aperture has a lot of different presets that are very similar, that like share that Aperture DNA in there, but for the most part, like this is a randomizer that is very, very broad in the ways that you can play it, which is really, really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know, we're only expanding upon that, right? Like every month we're doing another update to the randomizer, fixing bugs, trying to implement new solutions to old problems or new solutions to new problems. You know, that kind of stuff. So, it's definitely an evolving process, and the tidbit is only one of the ways that people get to see, oh, there's this thing that I didn't know about before. So
Yep. And right now we have these two racers playing Aperture. The main gimmick behind Aperture is that a lot of shortcuts, most of the shortcuts in the game are open. All of the warps are open and available at the start, which, you know, is nice. Death does not show up to take away your gear. That's just a quality of life thing, because otherwise every player would just like leave the starting area and then come back just to have death disappear. So
yeah, there was a case that was made by an amount of racers where we should have left death in because the caves was available and you had to earn the right to skip death. But in the end, we just left it here.
Is that Cube of Zoe? I think there might be an issue with the randomizer, because that's not like, I think the seed isn't random. I think we need to stop the players.
Oh, really?
No. Cube of Zoe just showing up in its vanilla
Cube of Zoe
location.
can appear vanilla.
It's the joke. It's the joke of,
Okay.
Is this even randomized?
Maybe.
Who knows? I mean, everything else about it doesn't look. Yeah, it's a little random, I guess.
If I see
gear.
demon card, I'm gonna be sus.
True. I do think there is an interesting idea of like, okay, well, no, it's Spike Breaker. Randomizing the items without randomizing the relics necessarily, and like having players race through stuff like that. There's just a billion different ways that you can rearrange this game with the tools given to us with the randomizer and stuff, and the tools that people continue to work on and perfect. That makes this game that's already so replayable even more so.
And that's not to mention like all of the randomizers that have been created for other platforms, right? We have a PlayStation randomizer, which is the main, one that everybody focuses on, but we also have a Saturn randomizer, we have a PSP randomizer, and then we also now have an Xbox 360 randomizer.
True. Confirmed to also work on hardware. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in SotN randomization. I need to try out the 360 randomizer soon.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where, the development team has been working nonstop on developing all of these new things, and I really wanted to include the Saturn Maria randomizer in the tidbit. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, how many runners would we actually get for the tidbit if I did that?
It would cut interest for sure, because it's a different skill set. It's a different, vibe for sure. It also would require like downloading a different randomizer client and all this other stuff. So for the sake of simplicity, it makes sense. Plus, it is like a different console and different game for lack of a better term. Different character.
Different game, all right. Like I tried to play the Saturn version of SotN. I tried to play as Alucard, could not get through entrance.
It's one of those things where if you have the that relatively recent like quality of life balance patch thing where it like translates the game and then also like speeds up animations and stuff like that, it's not bad. It's a fine enough way, but like, man, Saturn they tried their best.
Oh, Leapstone at the Librarian.
Yep.
So the next possible checks are Grand Falloon Scylla or Colosseum?
I mean,
No,
Coliseum
Coliseum's
is
layer
in.
0.
Yeah, Coliseum is layer 0. As we're seeing Ren warped to the All Rocks location, and then is going to Coliseum this way. Ren going for the strategy of skipping library. I don't hate it.
He did this last time, and it irritated me.
It's not the worst idea because, like, library is one of those locations where you want to go there relatively late when you have money, so that way the shop is like as potent as possible. Also, if you have like a form of mist, for example, then you can full clear the library, which will save you time having to backtrack later if you don't find library cards. Although library cards are guaranteed in this preset, so I don't know.
Oh, you know what though? With Leapstone, there's a lot of out of logic checks. Speaking of Refined Hornet here doing the fairy card, you can also out of logic Ghost card. You can out of logic the Fire of Bat. Sorry, my brain.
Yeah, Fire of Bat, Ghost
sentence.
card. Is there another one that I might be missing? I don't think so. I mean, technically with Spike Breaker, you can also check Spike Breaker. Spike Breaker plus Leapstone is enough to check the Spike Breaker location. It is out of logic,
and
but
barely enough to get out.
yeah, you do need to do some dive kick stuff. So we do see Mermaid statue locked behind the Minotaur Werewolf boss fight. So like, it's not a lost cause by any means. So there's multiple progression items on this layer 0. So I wonder.
You know what
if
it might be? It might actually be Holy Symbol is the next layer.
Maybe Holy Symbol has like Jewel of Open or something like that, and then the Silver Ring is the next check or something like that. There's a lot of options when you're trying to understand the complexity and understand the logic of the randomizer. There's lots of possibilities, so your goal is to just try and minimize the number of bad ones and the amount of ones that will lead to like really bad backtracking, and then it's just a numbers game. Like, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, like the biggest thing about the randomizer, right? All of us can say, yes, there is a skill behind counting complexity and
speaking
logic.
of skill, trying to get the flea ladder going. But I don't think Hornet had enough strength to one-shot the flea riders with the dive kick, oddly enough.
Yeah. So that
makes
meant
it
that
so
he
much
was
harder.
getting hit just because his hitbox was in the middle.
Yeah, that's the issue with like dive kicking off of enemies in this game, is that there are, depending on like the overlap between your dive kick hitbox and like Alucard's actual like hurt box and like the enemy moving, you can get hit out of it very easily. However, if you kill the enemy with your dive kick, it prioritizes killing the enemy first before Alucard takes damage. So it basically guarantees that the dive kick goes through without it like trading, essentially. So it's one of those things where you want to be doing enough damage for that to happen, but
This is an extremely long check by Renantrol here, going to Spirit Orb.
It's not terrible. It's like a 45-second detour, I want to say. At least on Xbox, it's like 45 seconds, but it is rewarded with a random Vlad relic, so every random Vlad is an opportunity for the opponent to choose to skip it, and then you're at a massive advantage. But
yeah,
even skipping early random Vlads isn't always the end of the world, because it's like you could always route those in later depending on like what you want to do. So
yeah, like if you get Soul of Bat later and come back to some of these further out checks, it's just way faster.
Oh yeah. How's the tournament been? I think it's been going really well, honestly. I'm very happy to see new presets getting shown off. Like, these players are showcasing skills, especially in a relatively short amount of time, going from the previous tournament to this one. People readjusting to, different types of gambling. I wouldn't say no gambling involved, but different types of gambling.
Yeah.
For these presets.
There has been one preset that has yet to be seen at all during the tournament, and it was none of the presets that people said that they were going to ban over and over and over again.
Which one is that so far?
Magic Mirror.
We haven't seen Magic Mirror yet? That's crazy.
Yeah, like nobody said that they were going to ban Magic Mirror, and yet I haven't seen a single seed of it.
It's scary, man. Like, Magic Mirror is a lot of fun to play on your own. Racing it is so nerve-wracking because it really does come down to who finds the Magic Mirror first gets a massive advantage. And even if you find Magic Mirror at the same time, and then it comes down to like minute routing decisions, like I can go left here or I can go right, and they have like similar density of checks, and then just whoever decides to go the right direction ends up winning.
Yeah, and especially if you don't find the mirror like really early on, like you're 20 minutes, all right, who's got the mirror and where the hell are they?
Yeah. Because with the mirror letting you go back and forth between the castles so quickly, like it just doubles the amount of relic checks you're able to do and how quickly you're able to do them. So Have we seen Ren check the holy symbol yet? No, I think Ren is like doing this from entrance, right?
Yeah, he's doing this from entrance. He does not know that Leapstone is on layer 0. He has not been to the library.
Oh yeah. That's gonna cost him, honestly. Like that's gonna limit a lot of his movement options. Ooh, but it was with a save split, so that's not too bad.
The thing here is that Refined Hornet is doing this route where he's going all the way down to Grand Floon because it is in logic.
And also Spikebreaker.
While Renonchal is ignoring library for as long as possible. Again, like you said earlier, because he wants to maximize his shop value. I don't know who's actually going to come out on top. If Refined Hornet goes to Spikebreaker early and finds something like Bat, this could turn very south very quickly.
I don't think Bat can show up at Spikebreaker though, right? Because in logic, it's required that you get Bat for this, or unless there's a different logic that I'm misremembering. Because I don't know if Mist and Power of Mist is in logic for this preset.
I would have to see the Spike Room and to see if the lights are on.
Yeah, true. I just
Because
don't
if the
remember.
lights are on, then yes, it is. If the lights are off, no.
And that is another thing about these presets is that like you have to keep in mind a lot of varying rule sets, varying logics. Like it's one of those things where like the things that are in logic vary based off of the settings of the randomizer itself, the preset. So you have to keep all of those in mind when you're switching back and forth between them, and it can get very dicey. It's one of the things when I was doing like prep races, I was like, man, what is the complexity again? Like, wait, is this in logic? I don't remember. And like key decisions like that, not knowing them can be the make or break point between winning and losing.
Now, this really hurts watching Renonchal try to use Starflail against these books being resistant to the hit damage.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, Grand Falloon weak to fire, so that's going to be helpful for the Firebrand damage going in here.
Firebrand is actually an amazing weapon, not just in first castle, but also in second castle because of that special and how many hitboxes it spawns.
It's one of the lesser appreciated weapons, but its main downsides are Cerberus, obviously, is immune to it and even heals off of it, and Dracula being resistant to fire is, like, tough. It's not a weapon that, like, clears the entire game. It's one of the reasons why Marcel as well is, like, it's a great weapon, but you want to be using like literally anything else versus Dracula.
Yeah. Marcel, you can take on the rest of the castle with it except for Cerberus. Against Dracula, maybe if you have literally nothing else that double hits.
Yeah, I think fists oftentimes end up being better damage per second, but either way. But yeah, I do like that Hornet is staying in the catacombs, found nothing at Grand Falloon, used the save split to his advantage, reset, and is now going to check Spikebreaker out of logic. So this could be big, depending on what's found here. Even if it's like a relic that doesn't immediately grant any sort of benefit, it's at least knowledge. It's like a good information check that gives you an idea of like, okay, this is where the seed wants me to go. Like if you find like a ring, for example, you could kind of suss out that this might be the complexity ring versus like the random ring. So now you're going to do more checks to try and find the random ring. Things of that nature.
And that's really going to help our players here because, Aperture is a high complexity preset for, its lack of anything else. That means that you want to follow or skip logic at all possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we still have the random Vlads to deal with, but, and we find a ring.
It's a ring.
So, like I said before, you can probably pretty safely conclude that that's the higher complexity ring because the way that the rings work, because they're both required to open up the Holy Glasses check, usually, very rarely does it happen that they're on the same exact complexity layer, but usually one is in a higher complexity layer, the other one is just randomly distributed somewhere on a lower layer. So now, if I'm Hornet, I'm thinking, okay, I kind of just need to check everything. Because if I miss out on that random ring, that is likely going to be my ticket to the last Vlad relic, so I just can't miss it.
Yeah, that beautiful dive kick off of the were-skeleton there to get out of there. It was wonderful. Like he didn't even have to try. He just did.
I mean, it's interesting now that it seemed like Hornet definitely had the lead going in, but now Ren's not that far behind. I mean, Renan just has to maybe a Grand Floon skip is enough to take the lead. Maybe not take
Yeah.
the lead, but like catch up. He does have the rib of Vlad, which was at the location that I'm totally remembering.
Spirit Orb.
Yeah, exactly what I said. Spirit Orb. I didn't forget
No,
it.
and I'm surprised that Ren isn't jumping at the chance to go to Holy Symbol yet. He's actually going for that high complexity check, because of the reasons we previously discussed. He wants to get to the highest complexity location the fastest he can.
Yeah, because it gives you so much good information, if at the very least, helps you skip logic, so.
Yeah, like there's so many pieces that go into the spike breaker check that a lot of people don't account for. It's not just locked behind Soul of Bat and Echo of Bat in normal presets. In normal presets, it's locked behind Jewel of Open, Soul of Bat, and Echo of Bat.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is when it's in logic that you need Bat and Echo of Bat to get to Spike Breaker at the very least, that does tell you that Bat is going to be somewhere in the complexity chain, and Bat is, the best movement option in the game for the most part. So at that point, I'm going to start trying to find where the chain starts and following it so I can try and find Bat as early as I can.
Yeah. Now, also, the other thing that a lot of people don't take into account is that there's that guaranteed library card at Spikebreaker and at Galamoth, which means that he goes here, he does this, then he goes over to Holy Symbol, uses the library card, get out of jail free, basically.
Yeah, I think both players are probably going to be taking similar routes in that regard, because, I mean, we're already seeing Hornet head over to probably the Holy Symbol check, and Scylla as well, I mean, while you're there. And Ren is also doing Grand Floon, opting not to skip Grand Floon. I don't hate it, especially because you just found the random ring. From your perspective, it's like, I got to check everything. Sorry, not the random ring, but the complexity ring. You don't want to miss out on the random ring. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I don't blame him, but this will lose him some time for sure. At least some like potential time save. Because at the highest level of Randomizer, I feel like whoever ends up winning or losing isn't necessarily whoever routes the best. It's whoever finds the best possible relic location to skip. And if it ends up actually paying off. Because most of the routes in this game, for the most part, even out. And they come out in the wash at the end of the day. Like, the movement options are pretty consistent. No checks are so far away from other ones outside of, like, very terrible situations. Like, I don't know, like finding mist and then you have to gamble between that mist being progression at Silver Ring versus like library without library cards. Like, those are like as far away as they can possibly be. But outside of those rare scenarios, most routes in this game kind of just even out. So it comes down to who decides to skip something, and are they doing the most informed possible skip, or are they just skipping something and getting lucky,
Yeah. The worst split you can ever get, is finding a late wolf in Adventure.
Oh, yeah. That is true. It's pretty rough. I mean, Mist in this preset is also actually pretty rough because, like, there's extra Mist locations now that I think about it, because you have Creature that's locked behind Mist, yeah. Is there any other ones that I'm forgetting? I don't think so.
Nope.
It's just those
it turns Mist between a 50-50 to a 33-33-33.
Yep. Where that last percentage point goes, nobody knows.
I ate it. As an Eldritch being, I eat the 1%.
And there's Mist, speaking of. And honestly,
wow,
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, this is a great library card for sure. I mean, maybe you want to save it for later, but there is one that's guaranteed in the second castle, so it's not like the end of the world. You'll have access to library cards or a library card later. But this seems like a pretty straightforward logistical chain here. Leapstone was found, but it wasn't necessarily like progression on its own. But Leapstone plus Mist is progression for the Soul of Bat location. Because
that's right.
There needs to be some sort of escape requirement to leaving that area. And if you drop down to fight Lesser Demon, it's not in logic that you'd be able to get back up with just Mist alone. So that's what the Leapstone is for. So yeah, right now we're looking at Layer 0 was Merman Statue. And then next up, the second step was Mist, interestingly enough.
Yeah, now I'm gonna bet monies to pesos that it's probably Gravity Boots here.
I could see a Jewel of Open as well. Oh,
it's
power
power.
of mist. That's basically gravity boots. It's, flight.
Yeah. It's some form of flight. Like it had. I don't see where it was anything but flight. Like maybe it's another ring, but why would you put the ring there? No. Like it had to be progression.
Yeah, it had to be progression of some kind, and there's only so many progression relics that were on the table. It was like Bat, Jewel of Open, Power of Mist, and Gravity Boots, probably. Because I don't think it would be glasses either, because you need flight for glasses to actually be progression. So
true. Yeah, so it had to be flight here.
Yeah, and Ren is now finally leaving the catacombs, probably going to be doing the same thing, going to the caverns and then finding Mist for himself. But right now, I mean, Hornet is going to have to, at some point, go check the Spirit Orb check. And honestly, Spirit Orb is next to glasses, so maybe at the very end of the game, when Hornet is missing, because I'm presuming that the final Vlad is at Holy Glasses. That seems the most logical to me. There's a world where it's like Jewel of Open, and that'd be crazy, but it's more likely that it's the final Vlad, in my opinion. I guess it could be Wolf as well, actually, now that I think about it, or Snorkel. Those are both options as well to add progression, because Wolf plus Snorkel is progression for the Echo of Bat location because of the map changes in this preset.
Yeah, you could also end up having a situation where it's like at Silver Ring because of Jewel of Open.
Oh, true, yeah. Jewel of Open opens up a lot of different locations, and for Jewel of Open to be this late in the preset does make me think that Silver Ring is less likely, because then it's just random between all of the places that are opened up by Jewel of Open. But the other thing that's nice about having a transformation and flight is that this location, the Fire Bat location, is available, and it's Wolf. That's nice to have.
Wolf. Wow.
That'll be useful for movement because Power of Mist Power of Wolf, has already been acquired. And it does help, like we said earlier, where if you have Wolf and the Snorkel, that gives you access to the underwater check in the second castle.
Also, Wolf plus Spikebreaker, if they already have flight, they just need Holy Glasses to be able to get to Akmadon.
That is true. I mean, Power of Mist also does it.
That's true. Yeah.
The
I didn't
added
think about
spikes.
that.
Yeah, you can just get through there just fine. And I mean, how many checks are left at this point?
God, you ever just create so many presets and change logic in so many ways?
I mean, it's impossible to keep track of it all. That was my biggest complaint going into this tournament. I was like, man, my brain just can't keep all this information straight. It's too hard. And honestly, nothing but respect for the players for being able to handle all of the different twists and turns that these presets have.
Yeah.
There's
Gravity Boots. That's
nice
going to make everybody's day faster.
Yeah. Gravity Boots, probably I don't want to say an underappreciated relic, because I think most people do appreciate how nice it is in a randomizer setting. But I don't know, from a casual perspective, I feel like a lot of people forget how nice it is.
As a casual player, Gravity Boots don't do as much because all you know is down, up, X, right?
Yeah.
You don't know down, up, down, and doing the inputs for diagonals and that kind of thing until you've played it way too much.
So if you're chasing complexity here as Hornet, you probably go second castle immediately, because Glasses was just found locked behind Flight, and Flight was found locked behind Mist. Mist was found locked behind the Merman statue, etc., etc. But there are some random checks left in the first castle, and you don't want to miss out on those. So, especially because the ring can be anywhere. That's the thing that has me the most worried, is the random ring exists somewhere, and it's probably in Logic, so it might be worth just doing all these extra checks.
Yeah, I'm kind of siding with Hornet on this one. I want to check for that random ring, because if that random ring is in the chain somewhere, that means that Bat has to be somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
He can chase complexity and try to find Bat, but the random ring may also give him something useful there.
I mean, it's going to probably lead to the final Vlad if I had to guess, but at the very least, it'll help you progress towards, you need to do it at this point. I'm 100% convinced that the both rings leading to Glasses is required for the seed. So from my perspective, I'm probably trying to find that random ring as quickly as I can, which just unfortunately turns into, don't have time to gamble, unfortunately.
They're already gambling. They're playing Aperture.
True. That was a clean jump through the that little barrier leading into Alrox's boss fight. That was pretty sick.
That's one of my favorite jumps to nail too, because it's just like, yeah.
I mean, it's clean if you can get it in one for sure. I usually manually slow down in the air to like prevent myself from bonking against the ledge, which is a little bit safer, but it's slower. So Hornet with the fast strats, very, very clean. Clean
It's
boss
like
fight,
landing
too.
the lycanthrope rock strat. Instead of going through the rock, you go over it.
Oh yeah. Man, that was above my pay grade. And
I don't get paid enough to do this one.
we were talking
Ring of
about
Vlad.
random rings. That's not the random ring I was talking about, but that works too.
Take that.
I mean, you need all 5 Vlad relics to finish the game, so you got to find them somewhere. So at the very least, like, yeah, you maybe aren't progressing the actual complexity chain, most likely by just cleaning up stuff in the first castle here, but you are still finding stuff that will help you progress. Like, you need those Vlad relics, so.
It always bothered me that the Ring of Vlad is the one that increases your intelligence. Like, what about the Brain of Vlad?
True. Oh, speaking
I
of
told
Vlads.
I was like, nah, man, you need to make a lore video on what happened to the Brain of Vlad. Why is it in his ring?
That's not a bad one. Not a bad idea at all. But yeah, 2 Vlad relics found in Alrox's quarters. Honestly, a relatively common skip point for a lot of players. I feel like a lot of players will skip Alrox's quarters if they're really trying to zoom through a seed. But
I always feel like it's a mistake.
it depends. Like, from this perspective, like, ooh. Where's Ren going? Back to entrance? Okay, Ren is doing a counterclockwise motion around the castle as opposed to the clockwise one. I mean, I would have.
It's not bad for density.
It's not bad for density, but I usually prefer to just follow the warp route, like just whatever the warp cycle is doing. I just do the checks that are closest to that. But this might end up being faster, maybe? I don't know. It depends. But regardless, that does mean that Ren is going to have access to the holy glasses later. Oh, it's because entrance still hasn't been checked. That makes sense. And now flight has been found, yeah. And Ren does
here
have
with
the
Power of
wolf.
Wolf.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it makes the check pretty quick. So actually, I do like this strategy. It's not a bad idea at all.
Something else interesting about this, to date, I have not seen anybody else use the Jewel of Open on the entrance here. Oh, and it's Skill of Wolf.
Jewel of Open on entrance?
Yeah, if you bring Jewel of Open to the entrance, you can get into the Secret Cavern.
Oh, that's true. That is true. I mean, what's down there? Just the save room?
Yeah, you get the save room. We changed the platform so that it's accessible with just normal jumps and Jewel of Open. But the save room is down there, and you can refill your MP.
That is true, yeah. That is true. I forgot about that. One of those nice little Easter eggs that's nice to throw in.
I always feel like whenever we're creating some of these presets, like if it's a big preset, kind of like with Magic Mirror, we threw in the golden axe armor,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. Like it's kind of a signature at the end of the note, right?
Yeah, just a little cherry on top.
Yeah.
Now we see Hornet going through Alchemy Lab. If anything was to be skipped before going to Second Castle, I would consider skipping Alchemy Lab because you can only do one of the 2 checks here because you need Jewel of Open for the other one. So,
Modzilla asking, did we put any peanuts down there? No, that we put the peanuts down there in Boss Rush.
oh, of course, of course. Echo of Bat. Okay, well, that is unfortunate to find because that means that Soul of Bat is the one that's the progression relic. Because there was a chance that it was just Soul of Bat like randomly found somewhere on a flight layer. But now it's very much likely to just be in the second castle.
Yeah, so that means that it's basically Holy Glasses into Soul of Bat, and then Soul of Bat, come back, do the check, get the ring, go to Holy Glasses.
Pretty much, yeah. Hopefully Hornet remembers that. Yep, Hornet does remember that you can't do that check and is instead just going straight to the warp. I was like, what are you doing down here? But now that makes sense. Now here's the question. Does Ren just go straight to the second castle, skipping Alrox's quarters? And Ren is kind of posing like he wants to. He's doing these checks. Finds a mana prism at the very least. So
Not a bad find, but
that Holy Sword could be good. I didn't see the stats on it though.
he also got the cake ticket.
The Holy Sword is pretty decent stat wise, and I mean the Holy Element is like probably the most efficient element in the game. If there was a stronger version of the Holy Sword, it'd probably be triple S tier.
Yeah, like, people talk about the ice brand where, nothing is weak or nothing is strong against ice.
I think it's just
Holy
the
Sword,
Frozen Shades absorb ice, and they're the only ones. Maybe Frozen Halves resist it.
And Frozen Halves are the only ones.
Yeah,
but we're talking like bosses.
Bosses,
right?
yeah. Even Scylla, I don't think resists.
No, she doesn't.
Scylla resists.
ice at all.
I think she resists water, but water's an element that was like cut from the game.
That's right.
Yeah, so like they messed up. They messed up with Scylla in so many different ways. But
Yes.
meanwhile,
But
yeah,
like Holy Sword, nothing is resistant to it except for Richter, which you're never gonna fight him. And there are several things that are weak to it.
Oh yeah, I mean like most bosses, most random enemies as well. We are seeing Ren in the second castle immediately, and like, I mean, Hornet, this is going to be a tough one. Hornet does have more Vlads, but I think is going to maybe be outpaced if Ren finds Soul of Bat first.
Yeah,
it might just come down to that.
Ren went and checked Spirit Orb early, and so did Hornet. Like, they both did that one the slow way. Ren is going to be able to go check Olrox with Soul of Bat instead of doing it manually with Gravity Boots and Leaf Stone. So it's going to be slightly faster for him.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned, but we'll see. I think the number of checks done is, I think, in Hornet's favor, like total number of checks, but Ren just has the positioning of being in the second castle first, and we know Soul of Bat basically has to be here. Well, it doesn't have to be here, but it's closer to the next step in the complexity chain. So it's possible that like Jewel of Open is found here, and then Bat is locked behind Jewel of Open. That's a possibility, and then that doesn't necessarily lead to a huge advantage movement wise. And they both have like full wolf as well, so it's like not that big of a deal if they utilize the wolf properly, but they don't have infinite mana, so that might be tough to route the MP around, because wolf is so expensive on MP if you don't play Lycanthrope.
Yeah. 5 MP per hit every time you touch something while you're dashing.
Yeah, it adds up quickly for sure. Even the skill of wolf, like initial dash, is more expensive, and just being in wolf transformation costing 1 MP per second, it adds up. The fact that that's free in Lycanthrope is nice.
I mean, I like wolf, but what if free?
Exactly. Another thing that's important to note, Ren is doing left side, which is, let's go, left-siders. Any left-siders in the chat?
I don't understand why he's doing left side specifically. Like, the density is better if you drop down from death.
And reverse library cards also exist. So
yeah,
I think this is
an interesting move.
This might just be left side brain rot. Who knows?
Rando brain is a real condition.
Who cares if you just get paid off by finding the holy symbol before going?
What is this?
I mean, just keep gambling.
Get lucky, Lamau.
Just keep gambling. You will win. Get it twisted. Oh my.
Never punished.
Wow. I mean, that's huge. The reason why that's huge is because Snorkel is a required relic for the Force of Echo check in this randomizer, this preset. So there is a map change that forces.
This is insane.
I think it might be. Like, there's a high possibility that it is. And Ren is probably, going to the mines. Now the question is, does Ren decide to do Galamoth first, or go straight there by chasing complexity?
Oh, he's going straight there.
Just kidding. Galamoth first.
Wow.
I mean, there's always the save split, so like you could save split at the start of the catacombs.
Card. That's why he's doing it.
Oh, plus the extra library card. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll fight a giant monster that is 12,000 hit points for a library card.
And it is a check on top of it. but
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm thinking about the
Yeah, the over-under.
yeah, the expected value of that library card. I guess the issue is he doesn't know where the Vlad relics are actually. Because if I'm in Hornet situation with 3 Vlad relics, I'm like, do I even need that second library card? Like the seed is going to be over soon.
Yeah.
Like potentially.
And that's really where, like, because, you know, Deus Ex Machina, we understand where the relics are and everything.
My God, Ren's MP just, I'm never
sorry.
wolf charge through the red skeletons there.
Never.
4 out of 5 Vlad relics are found. Left-siders and shambles, potentially.
Oh, God.
This is actually really tense, now that I think about it, because both sides had, like, at least something relatively valuable. We don't know if the snorkel pays off immediately, but we do know that the Eye of Vlad obviously is required, and we are pretty safe in assuming that glasses is going to lead to the final Vlad, or lead to the thing that leads to it.
I mean, honestly, if I'm Ren, I'm not doing item checks anymore. I found Holy Sword. I've done all these item checks. I've done, you know, a bajillion of them already. There's no reason, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough call. This Galamoth fight is going to have to go clean. Okay, gets this good setup here. Does Ren have a... I mean, I would be checking my inventory for like a strength potion or something right now, just to help speed up this fight a little bit, because there's very few fights where you want to save a strength potion.
Yeah, just get that initial head bob so that you know that he's locked for a minute,
and then
go into your menu, check it out, put it in the offhand, and then while you're swinging, use one.
Yep, exactly. That is the strat. Yeah, the lack of MP as well is looking pretty rough for Hornet. Like, Hornet could be using, like, Wolf Movement here, but, like, the MP bar is just so empty. Oh, and you gotta be careful not to use up all your MP here. I'd put on Spike Breaker to be safe. Not even close. Well, maybe a little close. Maybe a little close.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about Power of Mist, is that it's less MP efficient than other flight methods, because when you're in Mist form, it's 2 MP per second, where Bat is only 1 MP per second, so...
But he did it. He
Yeah.
got there.
They wanted to at least make it, you know, if you're fully invincible, make it more expensive, but the Akmadon fight also went by really fast. 142 damage per swing. That's the attack power coming out of Hornet's Firebrand. That's pretty crazy.
Well, when you double that, because Akmadon is weak to fire.
Yep.
And
Hundreds
there
of
it is.
damage per swing.
Force of
Oh, there's so much bad.
Okay. I think that this seed is thoroughly Hornets at this point. Like, he doesn't have a weakness, basically. Like,
I'm kind of confused now that I think about it, because that means the random ring might lead to just Jewel of Open? Holy Glasses might just have Jewel of Open now that I'm thinking about it. And I think that Snorkel might be bait.
yeah.
Because we know Bat is in Logic. And would Bat and Snorkel be on the same layer? It's technically possible, but that would be kind of like branching, unless...
Ren cheated. Ren cheated. He clipped through the stairs. Ren cheated.
I can't believe it. Wow. I was going to say, there's a chance that Snorkel is in Logic for the next complexity relic or item or whatever, but the Spike Breaker location was just the random ring.
Oh, that's dirty.
That would be insane if that's the case, but theoretically, I think that's possible.
God, you know, I pretend, for the sake of being legendary, right, that I know what the randomizer is thinking most of the time. You know, people are like, well, how did you know to guess there? It's like, well, I programmed the randomizer. That's the ring! That's the ring! Ren has the ring!
Okay. So, Bat was on the same layer as Snorkel, which is on the same layer as the higher complexity ring? So, that means Silver Ring is the complexity ring, and Gold Ring was the rando ring, which means Snorkel is likely bait. In fact, I think it has to be bait.
It has to be.
Because I don't think there'd be branching complexity here where it leads to, like... Because what's even left for them to find is literally just Jewel of Open.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't think Jewel of Open can be there unless I'm miscounting the complexity, because what's the complexity in Aperture? It's 8, right?
Mm-hmm. Minimum 8.
So it was
Beautiful lagless. Oh.
Merman statue into mist into flight into glasses.
Forgot that he didn't have Jewel of Open.
It happens. I do that all the time.
All the time.
Glasses is 4. That means Bat is 5. The ring is 6. Jewel of Open has to be 7. Final Vlad has to be behind Jewel of Open. So I think counting wise, if these players have been counting, I think they both. Well, actually, no. Ren doesn't necessarily know because he hasn't found Bat yet. But they should know that it's behind Jewel of Open as soon as they find Bat. That is the tell. You do have to count your way through it, which, counting is hard. I mean, you just saw me do it on screen. Sometimes I forget what comes after 7.
Math in my video game?
Yeah.
It's more likely than you think.
Ooh, well, I mean, okay.
Okay.
So that does wait. So the portal spell itself isn't the final step of complexity.
Part of the complexity chain.
But it's not the final step. It's like a branch.
Yeah, like it's shared complexity, right? Like the J Wolf portion is just a branch off of the main chain, but it does exist and it's valid.
Wild. However, wait, Hornet skipped creature, which isn't the end of the world because reverse library cards exist.
True.
Hornet's about to get a second library card here. I think if you have 2 library cards, you use them. Wait a minute. Dude, is Ren in the lead by not having
I think
Soul
Ren's
of
in the lead now.
Bat?
Like, regardless of what he does Holy Glasses, he sees that he has random checks left to do. He goes and takes care of those in Olrox's quarters. He's about to get Jewel of Open because we've already counted that out. He's going to head for Silver Ring through Olrox's quarters, find 2 Vlads and the final Vlad. Then he's probably going to go
final
right
Vlad
side when he hits second castle.
And that's where the final Vlad will be. The final Vlad's his final Vlad is probably going to be at Medusa.
Yep.
It's going to come down to what does Hornet do as soon as he finds the second ring?
And how long does it take? Oh, Ren's not going? He's not going?
Why? Huh?
Nani?
Is he throwing?
He's throwing. He's absolutely throwing.
Does he have the RFK brainworm? Are there worms in his brains eating the gray matter?
Rando brain is the real condition.
There's no way that you're like, oh, I need to go get Bat. Brother, go do the thing that wins the game. Bat isn't necessarily required at this point. Funny enough,
have no words.
Funny enough, it's actually not that bad because he's going to find the Vlad, I guess.
Yeah, he's going to find the random Vlad, but I mean, at what cost?
Yeah, that's so weird. That's such a weird decision. Like, why? Unless he meant to reverse library card, but misinputted the reverse library card. Because you do need to hold down first. And maybe he misinput, and he's like, well, I didn't mean to come back here. I meant to go finish the other side of the castle. Did he save split it at least? I'm so confused.
My brain hurts.
Oh, man. I mean, we obviously have the privilege of not having to think as hard as these players because we just get the information spoon-fed to us. But
like Cheerios.
I mean, yeah. There's the random Vlad, which is nice.
The eye.
The other 2 are in Olrox's quarters, and presumably the last one is blocked behind Jewel of Open, which is at the Holy Glasses location. So, like, if Ren just goes back to the first castle, like, everything is going his way at that point. Like, you don't need Bat at this point. Like, I'm trying to think. Bat would not speed things up, even if it was at, like, Akmadon. He
may be looking for the random Vlads, though.
That's probably what it is.
It could be in his brain the random Vlads have to be in second castle.
Yeah, because he
And,
didn't
you
find
know-
any on the left side. He didn't find any random Vlads. So maybe that's his idea is like, well, there's got to be at least a couple in the second castle. Little does he know, he already found the last one.
That poor, like, I have no words.
Yeah. So what Hornet decides to do here after death matters a lot.
Yes.
It really does, because this is where Hornet is finally going to find the other ring. I mean, if I'm Hornet, I'm probably going straight to the second castle or back to the first castle, which is like good, but also bad, because I think Hornet's going to find all the relics, but is not going to find the portal spell.
And he's not going to know where he needs to go unless he just pulls up a map and says, oh, wait, I skipped creature.
Yeah, that's tough. Unless Hornet doesn't go.
Unless he does a doppelganger check here, yeah.
I'm so, this isn't how I would play it, but hey, I'm happy they're playing it this way because it's entertaining as all hell.
Yeah, like we as the audience have the benefit of, well, being the audience.
Yeah, what's it called? Dramatic irony?
Yeah. There's no pressure on us.
I always say my favorite part about Randomizer is watching other people play the Randomizer. When you're in the hot seat, it is so stressful. Especially if you're Hornet in particular. You're like, I already know where 4 out of the 5 Vlad relics are. Like, this race can be over any second now. My opponent can go done, GG's. Like, literally any second now.
Especially with Renanchel being a former world record holder in Aperture, which, you know, if that's a thing.
I do like that people are keeping track of like fastest clear times. That's cute. I mean, it's one of those things that I've noticed from watching other randomizer communities. They do the same thing. So it's nice that like single brain cell, we have all decided like, yeah, it doesn't like actually matter, but it's cool.
Yeah. Like there are opponents to such an idea and philosophy. I am one of them, the people who's like on the fence. I go either way sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, congratulations. The breach world record is 5 minutes. But like
it's cute, it's fun, it's interesting. Like it's one of those things where it's like, let people have fun,
Yeah.
Now, I usually get a little bit annoyed when people get a big head about it, which I don't think is really a thing in our community. Most people understand that, like, having a randomizer world record is not nearly as prestigious as, like, I don't know, a main leaderboard category world record. But
yeah,
but it's still fun. It's still neat. And it's still one of those things where it's like, dang, you got lucky and found, like, the craziest seed and also routed it well and executed well. So it's worthy of celebration, at least in some regard.
Yeah,
the power of Sire doesn't have a hitbox.
No!
Do we know why that happens again?
Karma coin.
Oh, so if it randomizes itself to be the attributes of Karma Coin doesn't have a hitbox immediately, so therefore it just doesn't have a hitbox at all?
Yeah, Karma coin calls a different entity for heads or tails.
That makes sense.
So...
Yeah, it has to do with the item stat randomization and stuff like that, so... They're both still in second castle, which is wild to me.
Sword card, okay.
But I think this helps out Hornet more than anything else, because there's the snorkel.
And now he knows that something in logic is telling him to go that direction.
And even if he goes all the way over there and just finds the portal spell that's info, which is good, maybe he knows that, like, he doesn't need to check it right now, because it seems like he's not going that direction.
Not just info, it's required info, because he needs that. Like, he needs to know where the portal spell is.
This means he's full cleared the second castle outside of that one check. So I think that's why he's going back to the first castle here. I would have just library carded. You have 2. But maybe I'm crazy.
I mean, we're all a little bit crazy if we play this at all.
True. No, I cheated when I broke the Breach World record because I reloaded the same seed I already played. Oh no, Ren got trolled by the missing
Apertured.
Aperture does remove that save room because, hey, no cheating allowed here. We don't want no reverse shift lines.
Oh, I have a heart refresh. I can beat the game. Not in Aperture.
No. Cheaters never win, winners never cheat, etc., etc. Choosing to warp to mines to check this, is that faster? I don't think it is necessarily, but I'm happy that Hornet is checking this at the very least. Because now this gives like a huge... I don't know. It's still up in the air. It's going to come down to which checks they decide to do once they find Jewel of Open.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes you sit here as an audience member with the information that you have as an audience member, and you're just like, why are they going this way? What in their brain is possessing them to go this way? When all you can think about is, no, it's there, go do the thing. It's kind of like horror movie syndrome, right?
Oh,
you go to the horror movie and you're like, you stupid
don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Sex in the woods.
It's like, don't go in there. Don't go in there. And then they go in there, and then it's over.
Yeah.
And Ren, I think, might have a potential lead here. But they're going to library card at the same time. It seems like only a few seconds apart, looking for the library card. Only one library card? What happened to the other one? Uh-oh. I think Ren has 2 library cards, no? Nobody used one. He used one on...
Ren picked up a library card in the spot next to the save room before Galamoth.
Dude, it might come down to that library card. Oh, man. And I think if it's at Silver Ring, Ren probably wins?
Yeah.
Because I imagine once the... but what if it's... Oh, but what if it's that Gravity Boots? Oh, there's so many options. Because they're going to find it at Silver Ring. They're going to check Gravity Boots immediately afterwards. And then it's like a 50-50 between Silver Ring and the
Skill of
Wolf check, in my opinion. Because those are the... What else is it lock? What else does it lock?
Man, this is stressful, man. Like, these guys are on each other's tails. If they were in the same castle, they could smell each other.
I mean, they're like 2 rooms apart right now. Like, it's as close as it gets. Obviously, Hornet has the advantage of the extra Vlads, but like, even with the advantage that Ren has right now, actually, I don't think...
I think Hornet still gets it because he doesn't have to do any checks in All Rocks. He goes through Coliseum,
just the All Rocks fight alone, the transformation time of All Rocks transforming to Phase 2 might just be the difference maker, and that's just not enough time.
Yeah. While Hornet is going into the second castle with the final Vlad in hand, Renantral's still going to be listening to...
Yeah, exactly. And Crazy right now in chat is telling me that Ren used his last card as well. Because if there was a difference in like number of library cards, that would be the difference maker. So
I mean, there was, but I think Ren used 3 already.
Yeah, it was when he went to the library and then went straight back to the second castle, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
rough.
That's a little wild. I don't. That's a tough one. Ilson, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate you.
Oh, here it is. The Jewel of Open, as we predicted. Or counted.
Yep.
Calculated.
Yeah, we are so smart and so cool and good at the game and handsome, obviously. Everybody knows that.
I am math good.
And like, yeah, the lead is like disappearing, if not already gone. Just like, if you want to look at the pure numbers of it.
Yeah.
And even if this is, yeah, no matter what, I think Hornet's in a really prime position here. And that's the final Vlad.
There's the final Vlad. Renantral does not know where the other 2 Vlads are.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Refined Hornet does know where they are. He's headed for a teleporter going straight
and the worst.
Oh, and Renantral is headed back towards Alchemy Lab?
Yeah, I think it's like oh no, shared complexity, final Vlads, that's crazy. He probably thinks it's shared complexity final Vlads, but it's like, nah, bro, you just like skipped the one spot that had 2 Vlads, unfortunately. It's one of the reasons why we said it near the beginning. Most of the time, the race comes down to, regardless, because the routes kind of even out in the wash, it comes down to which relics did you skip, and did you do good skips? Did you skip them?
Yeah.
Did you skip the right relics? And unfortunately, I mean, Hornet ends up winning by checking literally everything.
Slogger and Gaiban at the end of the seed.
Yeah. Because I think Hornet literally checked everything up until Silver Ring. Or sorry, up until Holy Glasses, and then just found the last Vlad relic. So Hornet basically did every check in the game where Ren tried to do a couple of educated skips, but they ended up, unfortunately, just not working out.
I mean, skipping all rocks, I told you already. I always feel like it's a mistake.
I told you it's a popular skip as well. I've seen racers skip them many, many times before, thinking like, oh, I could always do those later. They're close by. Like if I'm missing a Vlad relic, I'll consider going back to it. Especially when you're thinking I'm going back and forth between the castles anyways. It's fine to leave some stuff in the first castle before going to the second castle. But then you end up in this situation where Ren is at, where it's like, I don't know where the final Vlad relic is. I got to go scramble to find him. Which is unfortunate, where Hornet is like already spent that time scrambling around, but did it in a relatively more efficient way, to be honest.
See, for me, and this kind of comes from a how do you approach the seed? It's been said many times from top-end racers and top-end speedrunners, you should always go into each room with a plan, right? I think that you need to go into each seed with a plan. Magic Mirror notwithstanding, most of the time what you want to do is you want to go in, find all the random Vlads, then chase complexity, and go from there. With Magic Mirror, you chase complexity, then you go for random Vlads.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reverse situation, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I think that sometimes we get so lost on the idea of chasing the complexity first and finding random Vlads later. It's like, if you know where Bat is, go ahead and chase complexity because you know that Bat has to be in the chain somewhere. But once you get Bat, you need to find those random Vlads, dude, because you know where that other Vlad is going to end up. It's going to end up at the end of the chain.
Yeah. And then it comes down to kind of a 50-50. Like Ren, I don't think had a terrible idea of like, oh, there's more random Vlads. Let me go check the second castle for those random Vlads. Because it's kind of a 50-50 if they're in the first or second castle. Technically, There's more total checks in the first castle. I think it's like a 2-to-1 ratio where there's almost double the amount in the first castle versus the second castle. So like odds are you're going to find more in the first castle than the second castle, but it is randomly distributed at the end of the day. So
yeah, exactly. So like I get really frustrated with this idea. It's like, oh well, I'm going to skip this. It's like if you're in the area, just go ahead and do the check.
I don't know. I was saying that back in the day when people were skipping creature, and that became the meta. So
it did.
Because that is the other thing that is interesting about 1v1 races is like when you skip relics, like if your opponent is skipping relics to get an advantage over you in time wise, that like they're gambling and it becomes difficult to beat them when they're skipping relics in that way. If you skip the same exact relics that they skip, then it all evens out. Because if they skipped it and it happened to be a Vlad relic, you also skipped it and it happened to be a Vlad relic. It's one of those like extra layer of mind games that you get in 1v1 races versus a race that's like a larger community race where you're just trying to place well. That's usually when you're like, okay, we got to clear out everything. But sometimes all it takes is 1 or 2 heads up plays to like completely, swing a tournament set in your favor. But
and this is something that we come across often is that, you end up with prolific racers, going against each other. They play each other, right? You play the other racer as much as you play the seed. Refined Hornet does not race with everyone else on the regular. Like, he does the seed of the week, but he doesn't race with everyone else.
Yeah, it's more of an asynchronous race type situation where it's like you're just playing to the best of your ability and not trying to outplay necessarily other people. You're just trying to play as good as you can. And honestly, that was good enough for this seed at the very least. Because we're looking at a solid 4 or 5 minute lead at the very end there. So GG's. Hornet gets the first W of the set, also winning the tiebreaker, the rock paper scissors, if you will, the boss rush. So Hornet's kind of on a hot streak. Both predictions, I think Ren was favored in my chat. So not by a lot the second one. It was 51-49. So it was close to 50-50 for this one. So
yeah, we had Renontrol 89 on our chat. So
I mean, Renan is infamous for his ability to play this game a lot and often. So he's definitely made a name for himself. But Hornet, like we said, been around a long time. Not one to be messed with. So
yeah, exactly. Always shows up and brings the heat.
All right, we got at least one more race here, so we're gonna check in with those racers, I assume.
Yep, and find out what the next match is going to be.
Heck yeah. And here we are, race number 2. I almost said 3, but I mean, if you count the boss rush, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got Hornet versus Ren yet again. And this time we're facing off in Beyond. We've seen Beyond before. It's a relatively popular preset for this tournament.
Yeah, Beyond is a great preset by itself. Recently, we've been discussing adding the other preset by the same creators, Weecock and Forat Negre. Mm-hmm. We've been discussing adding Legolas to the randomizer, but not under the name Legolas because Legolas is non-descriptive of anything.
What? I don't think we have any problems of randomizer presets having non-descriptive names. They're all so straightforward. Aperture, it makes sense. It has something to do with cameras, I think. I don't know.
Maybe we do need to revise some of those.
Nah, I mean, like, yes and no. All of the randomizer communities have their own little in-jokes and in like things that you need to learn anyways. As long as the descriptors next to the names are descriptive enough, I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. And that's something that, we've been trying to focus on is just making sure that the preset descriptions are at least relatively
Yeah. It might be one of those things where it'd be nice to update where it gives like an option to hover over instead of like the question mark where it just gives you the brief description, giving you like the full breakdown of like everything basically.
What we're doing is part of the redesign. Now, keep in mind, redesign is pending a body in the chair. Realistically, we want to set it up so that when you select the preset, the description and all of that shows up over on the right. You have your lists over here. We want to add like categorization so that like you can say, oh, I'm looking for a fast seed that uses the vanilla castle, that kind of stuff.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I like it.
And that cuts down on a lot of problems, right? It cuts down on people not seeing presets that they don't want to see. It also cuts down on people thinking that there's too many options, right? Because as you're able to eliminate large swaths of presets from your selection just based off of that.
Oh yeah, that obviously helps. Also, just like knowing the complexity before going into it, like stuff that's just like a reminder thing when you're generating the seed. Like, oh yeah, this is 8 complexity, so
Yeah.
And these racers are pretty synced up, all things considered. And just kidding, it's over. The IQ check claims another victim. There's never anything in there. Ren, what are you doing?
But why though?
Oh man, the IQ check. You need to have the largest of IQs to understand why that's a good play. Only the smartest of racers understand that the expected value there is, it could be anything inside the box.
It could also be air.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a consequence of the way that this game is programmed. It's a kind of a funny story, but it all comes down to the fact that in order to not give away information via like meta stuff, because the randomizer can't have, it needs to make room for random items on a specific map. If you want to randomize stuff like Gold Ring, Silver Ring, Holy Glasses, Spike Breaker. So if you want those randomized into the same pool, you have to make room by deleting other items. So as a way to not give away information, items are just randomly deleted up to 3, I believe, per map.
3 in each area.
Yeah, up to 3 in each area, sometimes 0, sometimes it's all 3, are deleted as to not give the players information that there's like a missing item, therefore there must be a progression item, in this area, which was a issue in the first iteration of like season 2 randomizer once the progression items themselves started to become randomized. So
yeah, it was so wild because I was trying to program something for the randomizer. I want to say it was about 6 or 7 months ago. And I literally asked, I just sent a direct message to Mouse. I was like, what in the hell is leak prevention? Is the randomizer going to spray water all over my desk? What's happening? And he was like, oh, it's this. And he explained exactly what leak prevention did. And I was like, I never would have even thought to check how many items spawn in an area to
prevent the data from like leaking into other areas and then causing issues that way.
Yeah, it wouldn't have even struck my mind.
It just comes down to Symphony of the Night surely is a video game that was programmed by people, and
Yeah,
It's perfect. It's perfect in every single way, and I have zero complaints.
It is a game of all time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we are seeing so much progression in the modification ability of this game in general. And I mean, as the decomp project continues to progress forward, basically like unveiling the innards of the game and having us understand them more and more so. And I say us as like a collective us. I don't understand that stuff. I'm not smart enough, but I trust I trust the very smart people working on the decomp project, and it's made a lot of headway, I would say, in the last couple of years. So
listen, I'm gonna go ahead and shout this guy out right now. If you guys are not following this guy is insane. His name is Made Up of Wires.
Mm-hmm.
I misspelled it. I absolutely misspelled that. It's got an S at the end. There we go. This guy, literally decomping SotN on stream.
I mean,
he's like,
that's huge.
Yeah, like he's just showing us this is how we go about doing the decomp. Like they take the MIPS assembly code, they take it out of that, and then they put it into a translator. The translator tries to translate it to C, I believe.
Yeah.
And then sense. They go through and edit it and make sure that everything matches up, all the tags and everything. It is insane, the level of technicality, and I feel stupid being in the chat of that stream.
And it's the hard work like that leads to breakthroughs in this game, where new things can get randomized, new additions, It's really awesome. I'm very hopeful for like multi-world possibilities that aren't related to necessary. I mean, there is multi-world possibilities with the
Archipelago.
Yeah, Archipelago. Yeah. Archipelago is interesting. So it's like technically possible already, but I think the way they do it is like they do like some workaround, like additional programming on top, as opposed to like, the dream of all randomizers is like multi-world that's like built into the ROM itself.
That's right. Yeah.
Basically,
everybody's chasing SMZ3.
Exactly. Yeah. The Super Metroid X Link to the
Zelda.
Past. Yeah, Zelda. Yeah. Rando. Like, man, that's so cool.
And that's the reason why I constantly champion that is like, no, this is the best randomizer out there, because not only do they randomize two whole ass games together, right? Like that's just the base. Mm-hmm. The next level is that they allow you to choose different sprites. You can play as like Celis or Terra from Final Fantasy VI. You can put Chrono in there, I think, from Chrono Trigger as your Link. And there's speaking of the Castle Key, it's right there out in the open. These guys got lucky this time.
Oh yeah, having a seed that actually has a Castle Key available, who would have thought?
But that's why I champion that as the best randomizer. Now, that's not to say that I don't have a bit of an ego about ours. I think that we have the second best randomizer out there.
I mean, the Castle Key being a custom sprite, custom relic added to the game that unlocks all of the shortcuts, unlocks all of the warp points, I mean. Like, the warp points literally do not work. Like, the lights are off when you try and enter a warp zone without it. But now,
that's right.
Ren is taking advantage of that Castle Key immediately to go do some extra checks. Meanwhile, Hornet is like, nah, I kind of want to see what the shop's up, like, going on with the shop. Which I think both plays are fair. The library has 2 checks available, minimum. Maybe 3 if you find additional, leapstone or something. Where Ren is like, nah, I'm just going to do the fastest checks as soon as possible. Gets rewarded with the Rib of Vlad, a random Vlad relic, which is nice to find.
Not a horrible idea on Ren's part here, because if Castle Key is in the chain, and it's the opening relic, your locations are limited to Demon Card and Leapstone.
Yeah, that makes sense, because those are the 2 things that are unlocked by just having a warp available and nothing else. Well, let's see what's in the shop. It's Cube of Zoe, not a progression relic, but still very useful. I do like having sub-weapons available. Sub-weapons can be very, very powerful versus specific bosses and such.
Especially early in the game. Like, if you get daggers or axes against some of these bosses, it's game over for that boss.
I mean, Holy Water as well.
Yeah. I mean, Holy Water, that's early game, late game, mid game, whatever game.
Yeah, it's crazy that Holy Water exists in this game, and it's so good. It really is the best one.
Yeah, you think about all of Alucard's weapons, right? And you're like, he's got the Chrysagram, he's got the Rune Sword, he's got this, that, the other thing.
With upgraded intelligence, Holy Water, I think, can like rival some of those weapons as far as like total damage output. So
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
and we find
see
gravity boots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gravity boots at Castle Keep. That does unlock a handful of checks, which is nice, but they don't have flight yet. A single gravity jump is all that's available off the ground with just gravity boots. You need to have that aerial dive kick state available if you want to do multiple gravity jumps. It's just one of the weird quirks of this game and the way that they programmed the gravity jump. So it does mean that gravity jump, it unlocks a handful of locations, but not all of them. So I wonder
It's interesting though, because we actually nerfed gravity boots in the equipment loadouts recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, basically because it's unintuitive for the casual player to know how to do a diagonal gravity jump. Demon Mail, not a bad pickup there.
Oh, yeah.
It's unintuitive to do a diagonal gravity boot, and yet it was in logic to do a diagonal gravity jump in order to be able to get to the Platinum Mail location in the attic above Richter. And we were like, well, if it's unintuitive for a casual player to do it, maybe we just need to go ahead and remove that as a requirement for the check.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, this randomizer isn't just meant for speedrunners. It's not meant for people that have, hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's designed to be a new, fun way to play the game. And if you've played the game like a couple of times, a handful of times, I mean, until I played the randomizer for the first time, I don't think I ever knew about the diagonal gravity jump trick. Like, that was something that I think Romscout was talking about when he was doing the randomizer when it first came out. And that's just like one of those esoteric things that if you just don't know, like, you're never going to figure it out on your own necessarily.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, the only way that I figured it out is after, keep in mind, I had been playing this game off and on for years, right? I was farming the sword, the Phantom Sword, whatever that is, in the second castle.
Oh, okay.
For gems with a jewel sword. And I had landed from a gravity jump, and I tried to do another gravity jump, but then I realized that I needed to jump over towards him. I ended up doing a diagonal gravity jump. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, because diagonal gravity jumps you can do after a hard landing the easy way by just pressing down, up, and then forward, because you can't walk out of that animation. Because it really just comes down to you need to do the input, press forward and then jump, but you need to not be walking, because this game is programmed beautifully and perfectly in every single way. So because the walking animation overwrites the ability to gravity jump, that's why we do the trick where you press down, up, then down, forward, because it puts you in a crouching state, but also pressing forward, and then you jump. That just prevents you from walking.
And so like that's how I discovered it. So, but I can't expect everybody to have that same experience, right? Yeah. So we took it out. We also made a change to Secret Boots. Secret Boots was in logic with flight. Mateus made the argument that it's actually fairly easy to get without anything except for just Jewel of Open. But if you mess it up, you have to have flight to recover. So what we did is we chose to put Leap Stone instead of flight.
That makes sense.
Because you can dive kick down there and get it.
Memorial card drop. Oh, snap. That's the replacement for the library card for this preset. It essentially warps you back to your most recent save point where you fully saved the game. It essentially allows you to save split, but also keep the stuff that you get from that save split. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, Memorial being a very powerful thing, right? Like, I almost prefer Memorials over library cards just for the sheer sake of the fact because it takes you back to the last place you saved. If you choose the right save location, you basically... like, you don't even have to worry about getting out of the library every time. Yep. You just go save and reverse keep or regular keep and go from there.
Yeah, I think that's probably the strongest position is keep, because it's gives you access to both castles and a very close warp point immediately afterwards. So like, I think last match we commentated together with Ren, he had the memorial card set up at keep, and that was the decision maker that won him his Beyond race last. So
yeah, I've also, interestingly enough, you wouldn't expect it, the save point right next to Clock Tower in the outer wall Also a very good save point for memorial cards.
I mean, pretty much anywhere that's next to the a warp is pretty strong, I would say.
Yeah.
And one that also gives you like other like places to branch out that aren't necessarily super close to any warp is also pretty nice. But either way, I will say Ren definitely has the advantage right now outside of the memorial card because he just found Leapstone first.
This is an interesting strategy we're seeing from Refined Hornet here, where he is using the elevator to get past the Slogger and Gaiban fight. I'm not against it.
I don't think it's necessarily slower even. It's just that you're just, not doing the fight right away. And there's Leapstone, yeah.
Yeah, so he's finally got Leapstone. Ren is a little bit ahead, not only because of the memorial card, but also because he's had Leapstone and Gravity Boots together for a while now, which means that he's been able to do more checks.
Yeah, I think he still hasn't been to the library yet. So, right. But that doesn't matter because there wasn't anything really that crucial in the shop. It was just Cube of Zoe that was purchased for. I mean, there was stuff that was good in the shop, but didn't have money for it at the time. Hornet didn't have money for it, so.
Oh, and speaking of money, DB Daly's hat, which automatically doubles all of the gem sales.
Yep, that guy. He just has his way with words. Knows how to get his money. Words. Knows how to get his money out of it.
Questionable jokes. Questionable.
I mean, the librarian, he be laughing. And he thanks you afterwards. Yeah, so, jokes got to be worth something. DB Daly has committed federal tax evasion. Let's not, say things that are, We
don't offer disparaging remarks about other streamers here.
Exactly. What truth about statements aside, hey, who knows?
That's between him and the IRS.
He could have gotten an extension. We don't know. I mean, with an extension, you don't have to file taxes until October?
Yeah.
That's plenty of time. It's just a little late.
All right, so here we see Renanchal has checked a lot of the castle. A lot of the bottom and front end of the castle. Meanwhile, Refined Hornet is working quickly to try to catch up after taking that long detour into the library.
Yeah, and so far, not much has been found, I want to say. Is it just Sword Card left for Renan?
I believe so.
But he's not going there. So,
Balmung. Ooh.
Oh, and Grand Falloon, maybe. Maybe he's thinking, I'll go Grand Falloon now. No? Where's... Yeah. What is he always doing library now? Yeah.
Or Fire Bat. Both?
That too, yeah. It could be both. That makes sense. It's one of those things that's awkward about getting flight a little bit later on, is you kind of have to do some backtracking to check those spots that you didn't have flight for before. But yeah, it's not the end of the world.
I just saw Refined Hornet open up the map. I gotta respect the fact that the map actually matches the cape. I didn't plan this.
Oh yeah, because the map color randomization is also a thing now.
Well, map color randomization is not. We actually pre-select the colors for the maps.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, we want people to be able to, select which colors that they want. We also want people to be able to read the map.
What? I thought this was a randomizer, not a customizer. Come on.
We combine them. Random, custom.
I want every sprite to become randomized. I mean, that's just chaos, actually, now that I think about it.
Speaking of which, I wasn't exactly paying attention, but we did have some code submitted by Biz Murphy that was supposed to be in the latest update where it randomized the bat trail. And I didn't see that last seed.
It's working, yeah. It's on.
Oh, okay.
I saw it last seed. I know. I didn't point it out, but the bat trail definitely looked different at the very least.
Good.
I mean, they are taking completely different routes here, and if I had to guess, Ren probably has that small lead because he found Leapstone first, but it's probably still pretty close. It's hard to tell until they find it's kind of whoever finds the next progression item, really.
Yeah.
And
Like, wherever it may be.
that is one of the things that's nice about the castle key, that it opens up, the whole castle for you to warp around to. But then it comes down to, well, now you got to go check the whole castle.
Oh, and it's the Shadow Cloak. Renantial, I guarantee you, beelines it for Spike Breaker as soon as humanly possible.
Oh, yeah, because that makes you immune to spikes, no?
It makes you immune to spikes, all cut and hit damage.
That's crazy.
As long as it's not elemental, you're immune.
Very, very powerful item there. That's one of those things that, like, you need to be in the know to be able to take full advantage of, because I wouldn't have thought of that. Because I'm like, what does that do again?
Oh, it also makes the movement through the castle insane, because, like, anything that would normally just body you, you're like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, most enemies, they do hit type damage when they bump into you, so you can just, like, backdash through them, I assume.
Yeah. And now he's got a Vorpal to accompany it.
Does he have the high jump boots as well?
Maybe?
'Cause his jump looked higher than normal. It's going up faster than normal. Yeah, he's got the high jump boots.
Like, I love this preset just for the sheer sake of the fact that it adds so many things from other Castlevania games that came before and after this game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, the fact that, like, these items are in the game at all, and they, like, work the way that they do. There's not, like, any crazy bugs associated with them, except for maybe the item that you throw out and you swap places with. I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head.
Oh, the mannequin. Yeah,
the mannequin. The mannequin is, hey, use it if you want to.
Crash the game.
So what? You can crash the game by doing all sorts of stuff, I'm pretty sure.
I'm
actually trying to think.
SotN.
Are there any consistent game crashes that I'm aware of that actually crash the game and don't just soft lock?
The Spirit Orb.
The Spirit Orb one is the only one I can think of off the top of my head, yeah.
Yeah, like, we used to have more, obviously, but slowly we've been patching them out.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the crashes and soft locks and stuff that just make, the game is programmed, it's held together by spaghetti and duct tape, so,
Yeah.
it's trying its best. The game's good. It's just, it's trying its best.
It's interesting, though, because, like, we had players over in the Archipelago server who were complaining about the fact that it's like, oh, well, I got this soft lock, and everybody's just kind of saying, oh, well, there's nothing that can be done about it. And I was like, listen,
nah,
if
they've
you
been
go
patched
into the
out.
repo for the SotN randomizer and you look here, we've already fixed this issue. All you have to do is translate it to Lua.
Yeah, pretty much. And there we go, Ren guarding all of the spike damage with that Shadow Cloak, and is going to be getting an out of logic check here.
God.
That's so cool. That's like one of those things that you literally would not see in any other preset, because the Shadow Cloak doesn't exist in any other preset, so. And a claim for his worries. Maybe not as good as it is in, like, Aria of Sorrow, but still, it's solid.
We like to see it. It's a nice homage.
Yeah, exactly. And gets missed for it? That's huge.
Wait, I missed it. Let's rewind.
Chrysogrim found, and Knight's Helm found as well for Hornet.
Oh, this seat is stacked.
Stacked with all... that's what I was saying before. Beyond, like... Yeah, the castle key, if you don't find it early, can slow you down quite a bit, and it is safe logic, so it's higher complexity. But the quality of items is, on average, a lot higher, because you guys just replaced a lot of the useless, extra items, the items that just, it's another short sword, but it's slightly stronger or whatever. Like, a lot of that stuff got replaced for more interactive items that have better attributes, cool synergies, better stats overall, stuff like that.
Yeah. Mott was mentioning that entering Minotaur and Werewolf from the right as Bat used to be a hard crash.
Oh, that is true, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I've had that happen
If we could
before.
just release the patched version of SotN, everything that was broken fixed.
I mean, that's dangerous. I mean, realistically, it wouldn't even be that hard to just write up a ROM and, just put it out there.
Yeah, like, we have the addresses.
Yeah. That's true. Just SotN quality of life version.
Yeah.
Hey, the soft locks don't happen anymore. They're very rare, but, you wouldn't run into these on a casual playthrough most of the time.
Here we see the entrance of Grand Falloon into the arena. And here we see the exit of Grand Falloon into the arena. There it is.
Shadow Cloak is so busted. How have I not been using this before?
Oh, it's one of those items that, like, we've had in racers outright ban it in races against each other. Like, they would make a mutual agreement. No Shadow Cloak.
Dude, that's crazy. People haven't even done that for, like, Duplicator.
No.
Just to show how powerful an item like this is.
Like, for me, what it comes down to is Shadow Cloak is the ultimate demonstration that Beyond did exactly what the devs for SotN did in the first place. They said, hey, here's a cool idea. Yeah, it sounds overpowered. Yeah,
Whatever.
Let's put it in the game anyway.
Exactly. It'll work its way out. It doesn't matter. The game's about having fun at the end of the day. And I appreciate SotN for that more so than anything else. The fact that this game is about having fun.
Yes.
It's about
like,
having
if I
fun
could
in the
make
world
Beyond a mode instead of a preset.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice that there's so many new options and stuff. Keeps the game fresh.
Yeah. Like, eventually we're going to have to figure out a way to condense those down. Right now, all we've done is we've sorted them into, these are the options that are for accessibility and making sure that the randomizer does what it needs to do, and these are the options that are all just like,
for fun.
Willy-nilly, oh, I like this.
Yep.
Stuff.
Did Ren check the library yet with the Mist?
No.
Okay. Is instead maybe doing... Oh, because Mist does give you access to Aurochs as well, so...
Yeah. And the Shadow Cloak.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Oh, wait, but he doesn't have
Jewel
Jewel
of
of Open. He can't get in there, yeah.
Can't get to Silver Ring yet. True. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Definitely having access to the Mist early is huge, at the very least.
Yeah.
27 minutes of a lot of... No, doesn't pick up the cloak! He doesn't know! Hornet doesn't know!
Preset knowledge.
I wouldn't have known either. I would have been like, a cape? Capes don't do anything in this game. Beyond is a whole new game. You gotta know the new items. You gotta know what they do. Gotta know how to take best advantage of them.
It's like learning all of the Pokemon.
Exactly, yeah. They just keep coming out with new ones, man. I can't keep up. There's one that's a car, dude. What am I supposed to do? That's how I feel every time a new preset comes out. It's like, oh, dude, I don't know. Like, complexity 7? Maybe? I don't know.
Why in the hell did you put Alucard in a submarine? What is this? Oh, God.
Oh, give Alucard Yoshi's Island transformations. He can turn into a train. He can turn into a helicopter.
Christ.
Turn into a submarine. That's the next
Alucard
preset.
now identifies as an Apache helicopter.
I'm thinking about the complexity here. Mist was definitely grabbed out of logic, but led to Soul of Wolf. So is just Bat chilling somewhere in complexity? Because, like, Wolf doesn't unlock anything in this preset.
No, Wolf doesn't do anything.
So that means the transformation that's in logic, the first transformation, has to be Bat. Because Bat also locks the location that they found Mist. It locks Spikebreaker. So I wonder if Bat's just chilling somewhere, like in the second castle, maybe? I don't know.
Maxing and relaxing.
Yeah.
There's the Fist of Tolkas. Muda, muda, muda!
It's funny when you're like playing a seed and you see Fist of Tolkas and you're like, it's good, but I don't need it because you already have great weapons and stuff like Chrysogrim, Vorpal, whatever. Like,
yeah, but if you have nothing, you're looking at Fist of Tolkas like, bro, you are the tastiest pie.
I'm saying like Fist of Tolkas is like nearly, I would say like bottom of S, maybe top of A+ tier. Like it's genuinely one of the better weapons in the game. The only downside is the range from it being a fist weapon. But even then, you can still, Hadouken your way out of it. Yeah. So, like, if these racers are in a situation where they're not picking up Tolkas, like, their gear is already pretty damn strong.
Yeah. Like, Shadow Cloak with Tolkas is amazing, because...
you can just get inside, yeah.
Close in this guy.
Yeah, just get right inside.
There's Soul of Bat right there. You were right. It's hanging out a ghost card.
Yeah, and I mean, that helps.
Both players are getting it at about the same time, too. This is great.
The only downside is that mist found early is still like a huge advantage.
Not only is it a huge advantage for being able to access certain areas, but now with Soul of Bat, Renantrel can do mist bats, which makes his movement that much cleaner.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's one of those things that's like so underrated about Symphony of the Night's movement options is being able to mist bat. Oh damn, the trails with the Shadow Cloak is like crazy looking. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's especially because like the trail randomization thing is new. So
yeah,
wow.
We're out here releasing new features and new options, people.
I mean, it's dope. It's dope to see a game like get a fresh coat of paint, get all sorts of new fun toys all the time. It's pretty nice. And you said monthly updates too on top of that.
Yeah, monthly updates. Every second Sunday we have the Bounty Hunter event, and in the Bounty Hunter event, we will feature a Bounty Hunter combo with another preset, but with all of the new options and new features that are coming out with the randomizer the following Monday or Tuesday. So
that's awesome, man. I'm. It's just crazy to see the difference between where this randomizer was when it first started and where it's at now, just a few years later. And I mean, there's still plenty more room for all sorts of new stuff as well. So,
yeah, like I don't like making things about money often, but I do consider the people who play the randomizer, I consider them customers, right? Like these are people who are coming to our free website. There's no ads on the website, never will be. But they come here looking for enjoyment out of a game that we all love. And the more we can add to make people love the game even more, 10 out of 10.
I mean, yeah, the community has grown so much just over my time, just fans of this game. The randomizer, all it's done is like made it better for everybody involved. Because like, yeah, if you're not interested in it, like whatever, but it's always there for those that are. And it's not like taking away anything. If anything, it's just adding more new fun ways to play.
We have Mozilla in chat saying, is the Wing Smash trail always white? It's always has been white when I've seen it. No, it's been light blue normally. Like normally it's about the same color as the MP fill-up aura.
Oh, the randomization, the random color? It seems to be based off of the cape color, no? Am I crazy?
I'm not 100% sure what the exact code is because I didn't merge it. Mm-hmm. Lucy was the one that merged that in during dev, but I could probably go in and figure it out.
Because it looks like the trail is following the same color scheme as the capes that they're wearing, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Ren does have access to the second castle. It seems that Mist was guarding the holy glasses, and like Hornet does have a bit to catch up from now because not getting that mist early, but he's in the catacombs now. He will likely do blind bat movement to get to the Spike Breaker location, which we know has the mist. So he also has that memorial card. I don't know if he has it set up in a convenient spot, if he's going to use it, when he's going to use it. That memorial card could be the difference maker if he uses it well. But we already saw that he didn't take advantage of the Shadow Cloak, so maybe he's not super familiar with like the specifics of this preset and the new items, so that could make or break the seed.
Yeah, and that's really a huge thing that Renantrel has over a lot of the racers in this tournament. I would say almost all of them, right? He has raced these presets more than just about anybody else. He has played these presets more than just about anybody else, which means that the knowledge is not something that he has to consciously access.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah, and that could be the difference maker between like making early game mistakes or like early game routing decisions. I mean, clearly using the cloak and knowing that that's an option to get to Spike Breaker essentially is like something that we saw. Hornet just like saw the cloak on the ground, was like, I don't know what that is, but it's a cape, so whatever. I'm just gonna move on. It's not even worth picking up. And little do we know, it's like one of the most busted items in the game.
Yeah. So that, and that's the kind of knowledge that is going to make or break people in this tournament for sure.
Meanwhile, Hornet, flawless execution on the blind bat movement.
Gorgeous.
into the spike hallway, going towards Spike Breaker. And Ren's going to the second castle. So, I mean, we could see a left side, right side split. We could see a couple different things. It's very likely that, you know, they're going to have to go back to the first castle anyways. And that does kind of reward having a memorial card. So if Hornet sets up the memorial card in the right spot, that could be huge. I think it's based off what?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's based off of anymore. I don't know.
I just saw the Roblox freaking Minecraft boxes around.
Listen, I'm not buying him any more Robux.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's actually really funny. Oh my god, that's the box that you were talking about. That makes sense. Yeah. So there's just like random stuff. You know, hey, shut up.
Maybe it's something like Third Castle. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably like trying to pull visual assets from like outside of like the normal bounds or something like that.
I don't know. Like, I would just change the clute, but that's me.
But we do see a random Vlad acquired. And is Ren going to do a full save? Yep. In case he finds a memorial card, that's going to be his save location.
Yep. Which is an excellent location. Yep. I love this.
I think either of the castle keeps, first or second castle, they're both like reasonable locations to set up your save for the rest of the run. So, and oh yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's a left side versus right side thing. They have the castle key, which also works in the second castle. So all the warps are unlocked immediately. Probably going straight to the catacombs or the mines. No. Instead, doing outer wall to do left side, but like faster. I don't hate it.
I like it. Skips all those cloaked knights.
I mean, yeah, it's the worst room in the game, in my opinion.
I don't think anybody's going to argue that.
Yeah, the cloaked knights plus the golden Medusa heads and the spikes everywhere and the water, but it's in the ceiling. But still, it's it's rough. It's rough.
Just saw it. Undine the Undying. Thank you for the follow.
Yeah. I'm being told that Ren actually does have a memorial card. Is that true? If so,
yeah,
then
Ren already has one. Yeah.
Oh, I missed when he picked that up. Oh,
yeah,
well then
he got it as a random drop.
Oh, well, it's kind of Jover then. I mean, I thought that Hornet was the only one with a memorial card, and that's kind of like his comeback mechanic. But now I don't see it going too well from here.
No, like, and plus Ren already knows that it's spread logic, so like,
yeah.
I don't know how much Refined Hornet knows about Beyond, or if he knows that this is spread logic at all. There's Spike Breaker.
Yeah, not that it really matters, but it does kind of clue you into some info about maybe the potential of like a silver ring check showing up later once Jewel of Open is found. At the very least, it lets you know that Spike Breaker is probably not in the complexity chain on its own. It could be a shared layer, but it's not like a solo step.
Yeah, at this point, I consider it a confidence relic. Silver Ring, however, could be random, could be complexity.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm trying to think here. Like, how would I route this from here? And honestly, this preset is so like new to me. I just haven't played it enough to know exactly the ins and outs. And I think Ren is playing this so well. It makes sense that this would be his counter pick, no?
Yeah, and honestly, if I'm Renantrel, I thoroughly believe that I know Magic Mirror better than everybody else. So saving that for last,
that could be very good. I mean, Magic Mirror also is like, maybe it's not like your go-to counter pick, but you feel relatively comfortable, but you don't want it to necessarily have to get there because it is pretty gambly at the end of the day. Like,
yeah,
it does come down to finding that magic mirror and taking advantage of the power that it has to let you just do so many checks so quickly. But I mean, at this point, I think Ren has such a massive advantage. It would have to be like a blunder on the levels of like dying and losing like all of his progress, but like he has the freaking shadow cloak, so like that's not happening.
No, he's not going to die. He would basically have to take massive poison-induced dark damage from Beelzebub to die.
Okay, maybe. Not impossible, but kind of unlikely.
Yeah.
Nothing found at Medusa. Dude, meanwhile, Hornet's just still chilling in the first castle. Hasn't found the glasses yet. Is about to, but like Ren has already done like 5 or 6 checks in the second castle or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a rough comeback for sure.
And this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, where we've had several discussions in the long library where it's like, yeah, okay, we can put a lot of things on to like random chance and that kind of deal. But there is a lot of skill behind playing new and old randomizer presets where, you know, in the Bounty Hunter tournament, Swarm won that. And he is a highly skilled player. He won your tournament, and then he turned around and won the Bounty Hunter tournament, right?
I mean, if you say so. I don't know. I'm just giving a hard time. No, Swarm is amazing at this game.
Yeah, like Swarm is absolutely a beast.
Like, obviously, there is luck involved in like a lot of different aspects. You know, getting random drops, choosing.
I mean, it's a randomizer.
Yeah,
of course, there's luck involved, right?
But I mean, it's the same with like if you follow any like competitive card games or poker, like those are random aspects, but the top players keep winning on average because they know the best plays, they understand the rules better than anybody else, they know how to make informed decisions that lead to the best possible outcomes, playing to your outs. All of those things are, you know, important concepts in randomizers as well.
For instance, Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You play Yu-Gi-Oh! I have played Yu-Gi-Oh! I play other TCGs, but, you know, the concepts are the same. Yes, the deck is randomized at the beginning of every match, right? But through that randomization, there are optimal strategies. There are ways to build the deck so that the randomization doesn't matter as much. Mm-hmm. There's all of these factors that you put into it. And I feel like coming into a preset with all of the knowledge of what the preset has to offer, and, you know, the changes to the preset as you find different relics in different locations, that's kind of like building your deck correctly. You're just filling your knowledge base to an adequate amount to compensate for the randomness.
I mean, I'm convinced that, like, Ren definitely has like a massive control over this preset in particular, because like he's just using the new items as efficiently as possible. Crazy points out that he's also wearing demon mail, so he's healed by dark damage on top of all of this. I don't think there's a single attack in the game that can kill him except for maybe Aquadon poisoning him and then grabbing him,
but he's already killed Aquadon.
So yeah, it's like he literally is invincible at this point. Like, I don't, if he stays in the room with the frozen halves and lets the ice fall on him over and over again.
Oh, Jesus, that
and just
giant hailstorm?
Like his controller,
power.
The controller disconnects while he's in that room and then just gets comboed to death. That's like it. But his defense is probably still relatively high, so he'd have to be stuck there for like forever.
Yeah, like giant meteor hits his house, something like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're a Hornet here, he doesn't know any better, but he's hoping for the good old power outage win strat.
Yeah.
Hey, it's always an option. It's always an option. You never know. The spill beer on the controller, whatever have you. The technical
Which I've
malfunction.
had happen in tournament before. It wasn't beer, it was soda, but I spilled soda all over my desk mid-tournament match. Worst.
I mean, that'll happen. That will happen. What the hell is this Wing Smash sprite, Jesus? Look, listen. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
This is the good old-fashioned SotN that I remember from when I was a wee lad. Everything looks exactly as I remember it from my childhood.
Bro, in the 90s, this is what we were playing, dog.
Oh, you know what it is? You're used to the CRT filter that makes it look a little bit different. Like, these are just like, not playing on a CRT. The game does look a little different.
Def.
Yeah. When you get to see the pixels up close, that's what it is.
Like, I spent so much time customizing my character to be semi-transparent with red boxes around Bat. Like, we did blue boxes around Bat, green boxes around Bat. Just
yeah, no. When they did all this in the character creator before the game started. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, God.
SotN with a Souls-like character creator before the game starts.
You know, it's so funny because on the the Symphony of the Night randomizer Trello, which is a tracking system that we use for all of our dev work. Razio had to bring it up to Lucy that we could potentially change the look of Alucard, a la what God's Child and I did in that one tournament. And you were like, no more of that ever. I immediately responded to the Trello card. I was like, I don't mind putting this in, but it's going to be disabled during tournaments.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like, the only way that it was possible for that to happen is if you were running some sort of like Lua script or something like that, or you were poking the
address,
the addresses manually. And it's like, if you're already doing that, like that does open
Who
up.
knows what else you're doing?
Exactly. It was just for consistency. If it's like built into the randomizer or built into the ROM itself, then like who cares?
Well, but the other side of that is that it definitely made Alucard harder to see in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah, but I think if both players have to deal with it, it's funny. So, hey, it's fair is fair.
That's true. Fair is fair.
Is there we can just make Alucard invisible, actually, right?
You can just make him invisible.
That is kind of a funny idea to play through SotN without being able to see Alucard.
It wasn't me. It was the invisible man.
Now, if you can make all the enemies invisible on top of that, now we're cooking.
God. Jesus.
Enter
can
a room
you
with
imagine having to memorize enemy locations? Ooh.
I would hope most people have them at the very least, like mostly memorized. I don't think there's a single enemy in the game that I'd be surprised by.
You'd be like, oh damn, that is that one bat, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh yeah, Doozy, why don't we just do blindfold runs? He's over here saying we should just make everything invisible.
I mean, it would make blindfolded runs a little bit more interesting.
It's a blindfolded race.
Blindfolded is hard, man. I tried to learn like the first couple of areas blindfolded. It's tough.
Yeah, because like you have to base everything off of like backdashes, full jumps,
sound
short
cues.
hops. Yeah, like
some of the strats are also like if you want to go fast, like the way Sestrin's current blindfolded world record, you have to like kind of YOLO some stuff. That is, there's not much coming back from certain strategies if you fail them.
Yeah,
like you kind of are just like, well, I lost 30 minutes because I did a thing and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But I feel like that's just blindfolded runs in general. They're very intense.
Old Faithful Rage says, make every sprite Alucard. What?
You guys are cooking, that's for sure. keep
like,
cooking.
Make them say what every time they get hit. That would be hilarious.
Except for Doppelganger. Doppelganger, we have to change his up. It's only fair.
It's true.
I mean, at this point, we could talk. Well, we've seen both rings, but both players don't have both rings. It's one for each player. So that's interesting. I believe Gold Ring was found just at Trio for Hornet. Meanwhile, I don't know where that Silver Ring was found for Ren. Very interesting. So Ren is cleaning up a lot of the first castle checks that he missed.
That's right.
Meanwhile, I think Hornet was pretty thorough in the first castle before going to the second castle. So, I mean, we're kind of seeing a similar situation where Ren did some skips, but wasn't 100% thorough in each castle, but now is like cleaning up the other castle with some progression items. I don't know which progression items he's missing. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's the ring. And the fact that he doesn't have the gold ring might be the difference maker.
He's just missing that one ring. And I mean, I would skip Succubus every time. We are Chads. We are immune to lust.
Oh, reverse library was Silver Ring. It was behind the bookcase. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, this kind of comes down to, I think whoever finds the other ring first, and I guess because Hornet's in the castle already, he has a higher likelihood?
Yeah, it looks like he's going, he's skipping Outer Wall. What?
Oh, is he going back to the first castle? Does he think he's full cleared the castles?
Please, dear God, let this not be, I didn't know the preset.
Oh, he just opened the map. He's not opening the map. He's not going to see the checks. Oh.
I promise the new map colors work well with the tracker.
It could also be they found the Jewel of Open, so maybe he's thinking, Silver Ring. Must be Silver Ring. And he's just forgetting about the other tracker or the other checks. Ren found a Vlad at Silver Ring. Okay, so they're about to be tied up, kind of.
Are you really immune to lust if you like creature that much? Can I get back to you on that one?
I plead the fifth.
Jury's out.
I mean, this is really weird. They pretty much have the same stuff. I feel like they've done similar amounts of checks. It's just a difference in ring locations, huh?
It's a difference in ring locations and how they approach the castles.
Yeah.
But Renontrol gets to do this.
I mean, that helps. And now he's going to clear out the rest of the second castle that he missed, which is going to lead to the ring that he missed, which is at Trio, we believe. I'm pretty sure it's at Trio. Yeah. And yeah. I'm curious. Alucard shield was found. That's cool. I don't know if they found Maulblung or Shield Rod, but it was a random drop from a bat.
Immune to everything, have a Chrysogrim and an Alucard shield.
I mean, at that point, it's just overkill, but you know.
Why don't you just take a nuclear missile to Dracula and drop it in his face?
I mean, yeah. Transform into bat and then position yourself. Okay, he's fine. The spike room was getting a little scary for Hornet.
As many anachronisms as there are in Symphony of the Night, I'm surprised there's not more.
And there's the gold ring for Ren. Renan pretty much just has to go back to the other castle. I wonder if he's going this way to get access a warp, or maybe he's going to look for random Vlads first. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, like maybe he's chasing bees just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, could be just looking for random Vlads and then going back. And it is kind of next to a warp as well, the entrance warp, so reverse entrance.
And he doesn't even have to worry about bitter flies or imps.
I mean, dude's basically got God mode on. So
interestingly enough, the imps can still, command grab you and force you into imp status, but they can't hurt you.
These cowards didn't put the RPG in the game. Dude, Alucard had a freaking rocket-propelled grenade launcher.
I mean, can't he get one in, Aria or Dawn?
Dawn of Sorrow, Soma gets that RPG, yeah. It's like one of the best weapons in the game, too.
Like, I distinctly remember playing one of those and having a giant explosive gun.
In Aria, he gets the giant laser beam. So they're not opposed to making giant gun type weapons.
Yeah, right.
And where does Hornet go from here?
The only place he can, I guess.
Probably reverse library. I would hope it's reverse library.
Yeah, like maybe it dawns on him that he needs to go there. Oh no, he's going to Galamoth, I guess?
Yeah, probably Galamoth. I mean, there are missing random Vlads, so it's not like out of the question. So I guess either of these players, I mean, they have the same number of Vlads, so it's going to come down to collecting the Vlads and collecting whatever's at the Holy Glasses location, which is likely Final Vlad, if I had to guess. I mean, it doesn't have to be, actually, now that I think about it, because they found a Vlad relic at Silver Ring. Silver Ring was the Jewel of Open was locked behind Second Castle. The rings were also locked behind Second Castle, so that would be shared complexity. And I think they're out of progression items looking at their trackers. Like, there's no more progression items left on the table. So it's actually possible that Holy Glasses is bait, now that I'm actually, looking at it.
Oh, God.
Crazy, I should have just looked at chat. Crazy Fourblade already explained this before. I should have just looked at chat. Yeah, my bad. I'm sitting here thinking I'm so smart for figuring this out. Like 2 minutes ago, Crazy's already talking about this. Like, hey, wake up. Listen.
Hey,
You forgot about, you weren't paying attention. You were too busy yapping. All right, we're seeing a Galmoth set up here. Christogrim, I don't know, man. Can he do it? I don't think Christogrim's strong enough. This is the hardest boss in the game, by the way. So much HP, and everybody knows.
Marcy bringing up Order of Ecclesia had a secret character who used guns as their primary weapon. What?
Yep.
I don't see enough Order of Ecclesia.
Well,
I'm just going to be forthright on that.
There's a reason for that. Albus mode is interesting. It's a touchscreen mode. You need touchscreens controls to control them effectively.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to mouse that. Got it.
Some people do. I've seen some very interesting Albus speedruns, but, you know, it's not for everybody. I wouldn't do it. Maybe if I was playing on an actual DS, but, you know. Streaming from one of those things is tough.
To afford that these days.
I was lucky enough to purchase the cartridges for the games when they were relatively cheap. I think there was a period of time where they were like $20 each. I don't think you can find them for $20 each anymore, but
oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
But the console is itself like whenever my son was born, we bought a Game Boy Advance SP.
Oh, heck yeah.
And the Game Boy Advance SP at that time was $50 already. Like up from 30. And now it's insane. Like it's like 70, 80, 130, whatever.
Their retail price on launch was like 110.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So, you know, if you're a retro system and you're more expensive than your retail on launch, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
DS to HDMI mod would go hard. I think there are 3DS mods that allow you to output HDMI, but it's like 480p, I think. And so you would need to also upscale it on top of that for it to not look like garbage.
I still have a cord that allows me to play PSP on a television.
Oh, heck yeah.
So, like, it's just literally like a component cable that plugs into the bottom of your PSP. It was released by Sony, and I bought it when I had, you know, infinite money because I was young and dumb.
Hell yeah.
And
meanwhile, PS1s are like $30. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it also helps because like the PS1 sold like 10 gajillion units. It's the same reason why the PS2 will never be expensive, because it's like what, 70 billion units sold or something crazy.
One of the best systems of all time, though.
I mean, I think it's still the highest sold console of all time as well. So, like, it's just one of those things where you're never going to struggle to find a used PS2.
And they're easy to fix, as far as I understand.
Yeah. They're easy to mod as well.
Here we see the old Christogrim versus Doppelganger trick, which is stand in the middle, swing.
So they both are missing just a singular Vlad relic. It could be shared complexity. In fact, I think it might have to be. Have we seen all the checks in the second castle so far?
I think we have.
It is shared complexity, yeah. That's very unfortunate for Hornet, because I don't think Hornet is going to find that silver ring because it was in the reverse library. And for whatever reason, whether he didn't know it was there or just chose not to check it, is not doing it. And yep, Ren sees the writing on the walls. Or I guess on the tracker. Reloads the most recent save. I assume that save has all the Vlad relics? I would hope so. Yeah, it's in the cave, so yeah, it's after he got the other Vlad relic, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. So he's going to head back to the first castle, get himself down to Holy Glasses, find either the final Vlad or the path to the final Vlad.
I think it just has to be, because I don't think there's any more progression relics left for it to unlock, you know?
Yeah, like, I don't see anything outright. He probably left Echo of Bat behind somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it had to, because it was in Logic in the first castle, so it's just probably chilling somewhere in the first castle. Dang, it's still close, for sure, all things considered. Like, you know, a couple of checks off. I think Ren ended up 100%ing the game? I think he did every check at this point.
Yeah. This is kind of what we were hoping for, right? Especially with a semifinals match.
Oh, yeah. You want to see both players playing at their peak, showing off what they got. And I mean, Ren definitely showed a mastery of, at the very least, the information side of this preset, knowing the items, knowing the locations, knowing like the preset specific stuff, which is what this tournament's all about. showcasing the presets and how they differ from each other, and getting to showcase a lot of them all at once.
Yeah, and now we finally get to see Magic Mirror, which been waiting to see a competitive run of this.
That is assuming that Ren's controller doesn't explode, that his computer doesn't fall into a cosmic black hole that spawns in his kitchen or something. Like,
yeah, that's assuming a gamma ray doesn't come from Alpha Centauri and annihilate us.
Yeah, it could do a bit flip and then it changes the game to Super Mario 64. Like,
which I would watch a final race in Super Mario 64. I'm not out.
I mean, if it happens, if the bit flip hits both of them, and they just gotta, BLJ up the stairs, like, hey,
yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, okay. Hornet was not unaware of these checks, just chose to do them last, which is unfortunate, a little unlucky.
Or he just now remembered.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he knew, he just chose to do them last. Because he also did Creature just now as well, so that means he was probably saving Creature as well.
Ah, okay, so he's saving left side until last because he knew that Renancho would probably check this first.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe just trying to get an advantage of doing a unconventional skip, but...
Not bad.
And as far as beyond presets go, they can be a lot longer than this. This one was relatively short, all things considered. I think about an hour and 5 to an hour and 10 is pretty average.
Yeah, Beyond is, again, it's the closest to safe we're gonna see in this tournament, right? Safe is usually a little bit longer than this, maybe an hour and 15 on the average. So we're not too far away from that. The Castle Key shortens things sometimes. And
then not finding it, I think, extends things. So it all comes down to the Castle Key is a pretty determining factor. The fact that they found it pretty early and on like the major path, like the most standard path, is good. So that way we didn't have like crazy disparity there. It really did just come down to, I think, the using the Shadow Cloak to check Spikebreaker early was the start of the advantage that just snowballed for Ren. Like, he never lost control of the game afterwards.
Yeah. He, and that's what you kind of expect to see in top-end races. Like, one or the other racer will sometimes just, they will grab the reins, they will take the lead, and then they're going to hold that lead the entire seed. They're just going to hang on to it and not let go.
I mean, yeah, that's usually how top races go, unless like a crazy last minute skip is performed, which has happened in many tournaments in the past. So it's not
definitely.
I mean, it's out of the question here because there's no more checks left to skip. So this is pretty much a done deal. They're pretty much going to be high-fiving each other here in a second. But Ren has all the relics, and Hornet does not. Yeah, literally like passing each other in the opposite castles. They might even be warping at the same time.
Wonder Twin powers activate! Form of a bucket of water!
The, funny that they literally are warping at the same time, passing each other. They have no clue. It's, one of those lost connections.
Bread and butter. Meanwhile, Fluffless is losing all of the points, can't bet on Ren, can't bet against him. I mean, you can bet against him, just don't count him out.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Yep. He's got so much experience in this randomizer in all of these different presets, and it's definitely showing here. And that last seed wasn't even like bad either. He made one decision that just so happened to be a little bit unfortunate for him, which was saving the All Rock checks for so late in the preset. Math-wise, it wasn't like the bad play either.
And he was close to finishing too.
Yeah, it wasn't even that far off. So it goes to show that like if that play had paid off, he probably would have had a very commanding lead. But yeah, it is what it is. And they're both doing the same thing, but in the other castle. It's crazy. They're both waiting for the clock.
It's interesting seeing the hue shift here, right? Like the slightly darker green in the black marble gallery versus the
Don't worry, I got
brown.
This. There we go, chat. I pulled a 180 flip on Hornets. So now they're in the same spot. The race is so close. Oh, it could be anybody's game. Oh, but he went the other way. Well, I guess he forgot this check as well.
immediately goes the opposite direction.
You know, I was trying to make a joke. It didn't really pan out that well. So close.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah. I wanted them to like line up where they're both entering like the shaft room at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But instead it's just, you know, very close, very close. Let me fix the camera. Rotate 180 degrees. There we go.
Unmitigable sadness. Oh, well.
Still a close race at the end of the day. Like, both players kind of lost to, oh, I'll save that for later, and it just happened to be the thing you needed. And that's like a thing that happens in the rando. So, like, both of these seeds, I think, could have went either way. So the fact that it's 1-1 is, I think, fair to say that their skill level is pretty darn even. Now, that is to say that the next seed is guaranteed to be Magic Mirror, and that's where I might be a little concerned for Hornet, but it is one of the riskier, one of the more gambly presets, so we will see. Just a little over an hour and 5 minutes for that seed, so.
Yeah. And you know, and this is something that I think we've addressed before, where it's like, when you're doing a race, the checks that you don't do are not the only gambles. Sometimes the gambles are the checks that you do.
Yep, do indeed. I am an adult and I will not laugh that you said do. But yeah, sometimes it really does come down to like the checks that you actually do are the gambles, and like sometimes the fast skips are the things that win you the game. But I mean, it goes to show both seeds have been won by the person that has done everything and hasn't skipped anything. So new meta, skipping things is actually bad, perhaps.
Maybe.
One could only dream, but I have a feeling that this next seed is going to be absolutely wild. So
yeah,
we'll see how this goes.
I expect everything to break apart on this one.
Yeah, I guess Hornet's just close enough that he's either doesn't know that hasn't won yet, or is just choosing to finish it up because it's so close.
I mean, were it me, I'd just finish. Why not?
It's like a minute away, so it's not that big of a deal.
Like, you know, when the races are this close, you kind of want to demonstrate, like, no, I was on your ass.
Yeah, exactly. I am excited for Magic Mirror, though. I think a lot of people are as well. It's a crazy preset. It's got the new relic that lets you swap between the castles with a button combination, which leads to all sorts of shenanigans. So,
yeah, like I think that Magic Mirror is the first time that we've programmed a brand new button combination. Like, technically Reverse Library Card was a new button combination for an activation. Talix Tracker in the co-op mode had like spell inputs to transfer or use items to other players, those kinds of things. But I think that this is the first time where we've said, okay, what brand new command are we going to put on something so that it's like, it's not using square or circle. It's just brand new, you know?
I mean, there's a special button for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, Hornet was, at the end of the day, very, very close. And I think if he just stayed in the second castle and full cleared it before going back to the first castle to do the silver ring check, that probably would have been the difference maker.
Yeah.
Usually moving between the castles takes about 3 minutes, and the time differential is about 3 minutes. So it probably would have been a much, much closer race. It could have still went Ren's way, but still.
I think the random drop of the memorial as well kind of affected it.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Yeah,
Here
Seed
we go,
Knowledge definitely
shaft
came to
down.
play, but like there was still opportunities for Hornet to win this. So if just one or two of those skips went his way or something, like it could have been better. But
yeah, Hornet out here removing Dracula's shaft and balls.
I mean, yeah, no shaft, no balls, just Dracula.
Easy mode first phase here.
Oh, for sure, yeah, for sure.
Dracula's the easiest boss in SotN. Watch the video, learn how to fight him.
And there it is. Both
All
racers
right.
have completed it here, and I'm sure they're going to be ready to start setting up the next race here in a bit. Maybe you need to take a little bit of a break. It's probably fine
Yeah,
for me.
I'm gonna go let them know what's going down, and we'll take 5 minutes to set up.
Yep, sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. You know, you get the new players, right? The new players who are streaming the game for the first time. and like they're like, "Oh my god, I've never played this game before," and everybody's super respectful.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're helpful. We try to respect not spoiling everything when new players are playing it for the first time. So it's really good. I love that about our community.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think general SotN like fans can be a little bit on that like spoilery slash maybe a little bit on the more annoying side, like, oh, you didn't know about this. It's like, yeah, no duh, it's my first playthrough, you know.
Yeah.
But at least the people that in this side of the community definitely are very respectful, very very chill, very cool, and like, you know, I think a big part of that is just from like maturity, having being a little bit more mature about things over time. The fact that this game is old and we're also old as dirt alongside it.
Yeah, I always joke about it, but it's almost true for most of the case scenarios. I always joke about it saying, you know, oh no, we're just a bunch of 40-year-old men playing a 30-year-old video game. It's fine.
Pretty much, yeah. Around those ranges, that seems to be accurate. I'm always shocked
we are getting younger audiences, which is good.
Yeah, I'm always shocked when like people who were born after the game came out show up in the Discord. I'm like, how did you get here? And they're like, oh yeah, it's my dad's favorite game. And I'm just like, oh, I'm old. Don't say that.
That hurt. Right in the angina pains.
Starting with Fist of Tulkas at the start here, very strong starting weapon. Like, they're not going to have to worry about punching these wargs or anything like that. Finding a heart refresh. Hey, they could go beat the game real fast with that if they want to cheat.
Cheaters! Cheaters!
Everything's fine. Uh-oh. Death, we haven't seen him all day today, right? Am I crazy?
No, Death has been absent.
Yeah, because it was Magic Mirror and... Not Magic Mirror, sorry. Aperture and Beyond, both of which Death didn't show up. Right? Am I crazy? Did Death show up in the last one? I'm losing my mind.
The commentary is low, Crimson Batasai says. I can try to increase Discord
I could just start yelling.
Oh, yeah. We could also yell.
I'm going to start yelling because Soul of Bat at the start and Muramasa as a starting weapon, it does not get that much better than that. The only downside of Muramasa is these players are going to have to be quite careful to not, you know, die because they're going to have 0 defense for a very long time. I think it's minus 20 defense, and getting to 20 defense this early in the game is near impossible. I think even with God's Garb, it's not enough.
God's Garb, I think, is like 30-something defense.
Then Muramasa must be minus 30, I think.
Yeah. Like, Muramasa is extremely detrimental to defense.
Yeah. What is going on? Oh, because of the map changes, Ren is like, I'm just going to go to the complexity location, which is, funny enough, the Spirit Orb. Spirit Orb, you would think like, oh, they could just grab that from the Marble Gallery. Not actually. In Aperture, there are map changes that block off certain paths unless you have the Magic Mirror, or if you just go the other way. So, it turns out to be nothing, but yeah.
Not only that, but he's using my favorite shortcut.
Didn't see the shortcut?
It's the one in Forbidden Route.
Oh, the Forbidden Route one. No, Hornet just... You can go out. How does the shortcut in Castle Entrance work? Where
that is actually a relic that I just left in there as kind of like a kind of thing.
Because you can go out of bounds with that, I'm pretty sure, right?
You can go out of bounds. You can end up on the floor. You can go all the way out and explore the forest. I didn't take it out because I was lazy.
Okay. Could you use that to get into the warp zone for the inverted for Castle Entrance?
Nah.
Okay, because if you could do that, because that's how it works in the Saturn version, is you can go out of bounds there and then like enter the warp zone. If you could do that, you could basically mitigate any sort of backtracking for the Castle Entrance check, which would be cool. But lazy programmers XD. Listen.
Lazy programmers, listen. We program things because we're lazy.
Exactly.
It's not vice versa. Be thankful for the lazy people, otherwise nobody would program anything.
I'm going to mess around with that next time I play Magic Mirror, that out of bounds stuff. I think you can do some silly stuff there. Maybe. I forgot that was a thing.
Like it's not a thing in NP3, which is the revisit to entrance. It's only a thing in NO3. So like you have to have flight like in this scenario in NO3 in order to be able to get there. So like I was just like,
Yeah.
leave it in.
That's funny. Yeah.
If they find it, they find it. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, for the glitch in Saturn, you're technically not in that room, but it looks like that room. That's true. Yeah, that does make a difference, Dirjack. Good point. Good point.
Interestingly enough, they already found a Mormagil, so they have a reasonable weapon. Like it's not amazing, but it's okay. It double hits.
Yeah.
It has, the fat hitbox.
They have the
Masamune
Masamune as well, but I mean, I guess if you're scared of dying.
Yeah, which I'm not scared of dying to Masamune because I have infinite invincibility frames, but
You do have to execute. You got to do those quarter circle forwards. And in this game, like you would think, oh, it's just a quarter circle forward attack. Well, this game's a little finicky. It's a little picky about those inputs. You know, it's no Street Fighter 6 where you can kind of just like gesture somewhat quarter circle forward-esque. And it's like, yeah, you wanted a fireball. It's fine.
yeah,
There's no simple
I
motions.
play King of Fighters, so like
Yeah, there's no modern
quarter circle after quarter circle.
There's no modern option for SotN. And it looks like Ren is choosing to use fists and Hornet's choosing to use the Mormagil.
Yeah,
I guess they forgot that they picked up the Masamune? I said Masamune, but it was Muramasa. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, then yeah, they're fine.
I will say that we are planning on implementing a mobile mode as an option. So, one button spell inputs, that kind of thing.
That's funny.
But
do we get the touchscreen
that's more
as well?
Yeah, like it's so that people can, play these on their mobile phones and have an easier time with it.
That makes sense, yeah.
If you're playing on a mobile phone and you're trying to use an emulator to do Soul Steel, Jesus.
Dude, mobile SotN is like, why does it exist? I don't know, but it definitely exists, and it's I've tried to do speedruns with just the touchscreen controls. Man, it's rough.
Yo, what's going down in God's Child?
It's not as bad as the Requiem being controlled off of a mobile phone. So it's not the mobile port of the game, but it's Requiem being controlled via, I believe it's like the PSTV app on your phone, where you can turn your phone into a controller for the PS4.
Oh.
Rom Scout did that for like a charity event a long time ago. And I'm just like, man, I would never. There was like a second and a half of input latency.
Oh no.
And he beat the whole game. I think he did it in like under an hour or something.
No, look, but that reminds me of the team up that you and Rom did at, I think it was GDQ this past year.
It wasn't GDQ, it was the Coliseum event.
Yeah, like one of you is holding one side, one of you is holding the other.
That was
how many speedrunners does it take to beat the game?
It's very funny because I showed up. It was already pretty late, and he's like, so we're doing this, right? And I was like, no practice, no preparation. I was told literally as I was sitting down, yeah, we're doing it a donation incentive, and if we hit it, we're 2-player 1 controllering this. And I'm like, sure, what's the worst that'll happen?
Everything.
It ended up working out.
It was a good run. It was a fine run. You guys eventually synced up really well.
It took like maybe 5 minutes of us kind of like messing around, and then we just like figured it out, and it was like, dang.
Yeah.
That's one of the beautiful things about speedrunning is like after a while we even just stopped communicating. We just did. It just turned into like execution. It was very fun.
But that's the great thing about SotN is that a lot of the movement is so consistent, right? Like once you're in that mode, it's like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of consistent movement, these players are neck and neck right now. Realistically, the only difference is that Renan has done the Spirit Orb check and Hornet hasn't, I believe, but everything else has been pretty much the same. I think that technically leaves Renan at a slight advantage in like number of checks, efficiency wise, but like that check ended up being nothing. So there is a world where that just never comes up, and like especially once you find the magic mirror, then like all revisited checks become so much more swift. And just kidding, we're already seeing a branching path here as well.
He is having a time trying to get up there. I knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to jump up, and I was like, dude, The jump. What happened to the jump?
Oh,
You
Hornet
know?
did do that check? Never mind. Then Hornet was just straight up ahead. I missed that part. It must have happened later when I was yapping.
Yeah. But here we see this is the divergence right here. Renantrel going for, all of these checks instead of going through all rocks. Once again, skipping all rocks?
I mean, it's a favorite amongst certain types of racers. It can pay off big time, especially because the idea is that you save it for when you have Jewel of Open and Mist, so that way you can do the most efficient thing, which is all rocks into Sword Card into Silver Ring. Like those 3 checks back to back, it's like some of the best complexity that you can get. The best density that you can get. Finding the first Vlad there is good, but it kind of doesn't matter if you don't find the magic mirror first. That's really what this comes down to, and the fact that they've taken a divergent path has me very worried.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably
because
just
one of them is going to find the mirror way before the other.
Most likely, unless they like converge somehow at like maybe Castle Keep having it, and they both get there at the same time. But I think Renan is would be at the advantage there. I don't know. It's tough to say. The other thing that is kind of awkward about early bat seeds is like most people are like, yay, I found bat early. I can't wait to do all this really fast movement. And then they forget that Wing Smash costs 8 magic per cast. Mm-hmm. And you probably have like, 40, 50 at most? So you're doing a couple of Wing Smashes before you have to just go back to your slow movement, wait for your MP to refill. Maybe if you're lucky, you're next to a save room and you can refill there. All Rocks is giving a lot of trouble for Hornet. Hornet, you have a sword. Just use the sword. Am I crazy? I'm losing my mind.
Is the Disc 1 final boss, right?
You have the Mormagil. You have an elixir. The turkey is so risky. Mormagil, he's not weak or strong versus dark, right? Am I crazy? I think he's neutral versus... I'm looking this up. I need to know, because if I'm...
Yeah, I don't know what he is on dark.
I'm looking this up.
I know
right
he
now.
resists curse, I think. No, he doesn't resist curse.
I need to know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Symphony of the Night. He has no weaknesses, no absorptions, no immune. Oh, wait, strong versus dark? Never mind. He's actually strong versus dark, so I'm an idiot.
Hornet knew, and we didn't.
Yeah.
That's why he's in the tournament, not us.
Wow. Mist was found, though, behind All Rocks, which is pretty big.
That's huge. That means that Hornet has a chance to steal this from Renantrel straight out.
It's possible.
Like we talk about the fact that Magic Mirror is kind of a low complexity preset. It's not actually low, it's actually kind of mid. We set the complexity for Magic Mirror to be the exact same as Nimble because we wanted people to be able to find Magic Mirror and really get to use it.
Yeah, because if you full clear one castle and then find the magic mirror, it's like, okay, cool. the utility of it kind of goes away. Merman statue also found a lot of progression relics, but I think Mist is the most potent right now. Like it's the one that directly leads to another location, whereas the Merman statue requires also Jewel of Open. So
yeah.
I wonder if Hornet knows about the Outer Wall Warp being available immediately.
Oh, there's Gravity Boots.
Yeah, I don't think he knows.
It doesn't open anything. It doesn't open anything. My bad.
Doesn't open anything?
Yeah, because he already has Bat.
Yeah, but like, has he checked the Gravity Boots location though?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, nobody's checked that.
So I think he's beelining it for the Outer Wall, but like the Outer Wall Warp's available. It's just open. That might just be another like knowledge check thing because Ren used the Outer Wall Warp immediately. So he's basically losing like 2 or 3 minutes here for free for no reason.
Preset knowledge, you gotta have it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely lost some races due to just not remembering that, like, oh yeah, you can just warp directly to Outer Wall.
Yeah, whereas you spent 6 minutes crossing the castle, your opponents are already there.
Yep.
It's one of those things where, like, when you find out after the fact, you're like, bruh.
And then you lose the race by only like 3 minutes, and you're like, oh no. But either way,
that's big.
Yeah, Covenant Stone's big. I think Hornet found that same Covenant Stone, so.
Which is probably what gave him the idea to go ahead and just fight Olrox outright, because, you have a Covenant Stone, you got plus 15, you're good.
Yeah, if you're a low level and you're fighting Olrox with literally 0 equipment, like, it's kind of like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like you just kind of want more resources, because even if you do kill Olrox, right, you're probably not doing it very fast.
Right.
He has a lot of HP. He has a lot of weird hitboxes. He's difficult to pin down. He moves erratically. You can get comboed into all sorts of different stuff. So it's kind of tough. And also the advantage
makes it a little bit easier.
That does help, yeah, because you can always wing smash to the other side of him and kind of stay a little bit safer. The thing that I'm kind of worried about here for Hornet is like the advantage of finding Mist early is slowly dissipating, because Olrox is being fought right now for Renan, and as soon as he finishes the Olrox fight, he's going to have Mist. So,
and here's what's crazy. Renan has Rapier, which gives him the multi-hit special.
It's honestly pretty decent. It's one of the few things about that weapon that doesn't suck. Everything else about it, it's all right. It's pretty solidly mid-tier.
There it is.
But using that special,
that fight way faster,
and
without almost dying.
My dumb ass would have used the Mormagil the whole time and been like, man, why is he still alive? Not realizing that he's strong versus dark damage. I know Lesser Demon is immune to dark damage.
Yes.
Dark damage I know is bad, but I don't know exactly why it's bad, so I just avoid it. I just avoid using it because I'm like, it's like bad, right? Jewel of Open, okay. Oh, that
missed into Joe. Okay.
With Spikebreaker on the board, Silver Ring is an option.
Yeah, because Spikebreaker was lying around.
Mm-hmm. It's at Outer Wall.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's the progression. That could be where the Magic Mirror is, potentially.
Let's see. We're looking at 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Halfway through the 5 complexity, yeah. That would make sense. Oh, man, I'm nervous.
That kind of makes me think that you want to go to Spikebreaker.
Maybe. I could see
because,
it.
like, okay, we already have access to Silver Ring, and that's super early. If we go straight to Spikebreaker, might just get a mirror.
You could. I mean, I'd be worried that mirror is, like, the next step in the logic as well. Because mirror alone unlocks a couple of locations. So it's allowed to be like a sequential step. It doesn't have to be like the final step necessarily. So that's what I would be worried about. But, and he sees the Spikebreaker there. So he's like, it's known that it's in logic to check Silver Ring. I'd probably maybe do a save split or something to check Silver Ring. I think Sword Card was skipped. I might not have been paying full attention, but I think Sword Card might have been skipped. For Hornet.
Ren, yeah.
Oh, Ren did as well? Did they both skip?
Yeah, he skipped it as well, so like both of them just ignored it.
So I probably would have immediately went back, did Sword Card, then did Silver Ring, and then probably went to Castle Keep from there, warp to Olrox's quarters.
Oh, he can't do Sword Card. It's locked behind the mirror.
Dude, I would have lost this race because I keep forgetting all the changes. Yeah, you can't do Sword Card yet. Duh. Oh my. This is why I'm not in the tournament. This is why I'm just commentating.
Olrox's or locked.
True. Well, now Silver Ring is definitely a lot more awkward because you can't combine it with anything.
Right.
So that means money-wise, you're better off just going to the caverns. Like, odds are it's just as likely as Silver Ring because that Spikebreaker was on layer 0. So, like, everything that's unlocked by everything that's unlocked by Jewel of Open at this point is the next step in complexity. And it does allow you to skip a little bit deeper if you go all the way to Spikebreaker. So I like your idea of, like, not beelining it to Spikebreaker, but maybe doing caverns first. And I think that's what Hornet's doing.
Yeah. I would not stop at Succubus, though.
I mean, it's unlocked by Silver or by Jewel of Open. They're all the same.
They're all on the same level, but Succubus takes entirely too long to get to. do the nightmare sequence.
It's one of
have
those
your
things.
cutscenes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's one of those things where it seems fast because it's like, oh, it's right there. You're dropping down there anyways. Just do it real quick. But like getting to that room takes another like 20, 30 seconds. The nightmare sequence takes like 10 seconds. The boss fight takes however long, depending on your equipment. And then on top of that, you have to leave the area. Maybe with a save split at the very start. Maybe with the fast core, actually, a save split at the very start would be worth it. The very start of Caverns.
But even then, that's time wasted. That like it's not like you're spending all of your time in transit. It's all of your time is spent doing the sequence of events that it takes to get there and go through the save animation.
That's true. I mean, that would just add another save animation onto the time spent in that area. But maybe it's tough to skip Succubus because she's just a fan favorite for whatever reason. I couldn't understand why personally, but
yeah, I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh my god, the original voice acting for SotN is so bad because like just look at Succubus." And I was like, "Was she really that bad though?" Like, I didn't think so.
I mean, the whole point of voice acting is to make you feel something, and she makes you feel something, all right.
I mean, she's a succubus. She's supposed to.
Diamond has been found, putting a meal ticket. Unfortunate, wishing that was a library card for sure if I was a Hornet. And Ren is doing the thing that I was interested in, which was the potential for, screw it, we just go Silver Ring.
Yeah, this is interesting. I like this divergence here.
I mean, they diverged pretty early on. They've kind of evened up in, I mean, they have the same number of relics for the most part. But now they're diverging yet again. Money-wise, numbers-wise, I think it's better to just be in Caverns because you have more checks. The density is higher.
Yes.
But Ren could just win big right here. Oh, it's not at Succubus. Because Silver Ring, even though it's locked by more objects, does not necessarily mean it's higher in complexity because it's dependent on where you find those objects in the chain, where you find those relics in the chain.
Mm-hmm.
But he could just win it out right here. He could just put it all on black. Oh, man, I'm so nervous. Oh, it's Power of Mist. I mean, it's a useful relic for sure, but he's even just safe splitting it away. Wow.
Yeah.
So now all the initiatives back on Hornet. First in Caverns.
We didn't put Power of Mist on anything for the logic.
Really. I mean, it would only be like Flight with Mist.
Yeah.
So it doesn't unlock anything on its own. It's nice to have. It saves you MP. That being a save location is interesting. I wonder why Ren decided to save split at the library. I guess it's close enough to a warp, but
it's close enough to the door to get into Caverns.
This is what I'm worried about. Gold Ring was just found, and we know these players so far have skipped Gravity Boots. Gravity Boots could be the other ring. We have... Have they both done Alchemy Lab yet? I think they did, because it was Bat start.
It was Bat to start, but they had to go through Alchemy. No, Ren didn't go through Alchemy. He skipped it to teleport
did not skip Gravity
to the
Boots?
library.
Am I stupid? We saw Hornet skip Gravity Boots. Am I wrong?
I'm pretty sure he skipped Gravity Boots.
I guess they went back at some point and checked it, and it was nothing. It was a familiar card. I think Ren checked it, but I don't think Hornet checked it. I'm pretty sure Hornet skipped Gravity Boots. They both checked it? All right, I just missed that part. My bad.
Hornet, meanwhile, he's headed over to Merman statue. He's going to go down here. I don't like this check.
Unless you have a save split, I don't like it. And even then, like, with Bat, it's not that slow, but like climbing back up the waterfall is very slow. So that's why, like, this is a mandatory. I must have a save split for this one.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Especially because they already did entrance. So, like if you have a Mana Prism, this is also a decent time to use the Mana Prism, but it's a familiar card. And there is a save split going on, so not bad.
Succubus, no, don't do it. It's not worth it. Oh.
I think you're the first person I've heard on the skip Succubus train. I feel like most people have like a preferred, like, I like to skip this relic check. I like to skip this relic check. Very few people have I ever heard say like, yeah, Succubus, I'm skipping her all day. It's usually it's creature.
It's a new train, right? Like it's something that I'm kind of trying to get started because it's like we have these skips like Grand Falloon, which
I mean,
doesn't...
metas evolve all the time based off of like,
Yeah.
well, this person keeps skipping this one thing and they keep getting away with it. So if I want to adapt and not lose to them skipping this one thing, I have to skip it too. And that's how metas adapt, with like creature skip being so prominent in like early randomizer culture, and like that progressing into all sorts of different things like left side, Galamoth, like all of these things are different metas that have come and gone, and they still pop up every once in a while.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the sign of a healthy game, is that your meta constantly evolves. You see it with all of the great games that have continued over time. Either it's a forced evolution through changes to the game. Oh, there's the Magic Mirror Demon card, which shows that Hornet was the first one to get it. Now all he has to do is focus on density, density, density.
And
how
not
many
dying.
checks can I do?
He had the Ares on, and he was taking a lot of damage. I mean, you can go back and fight death, but like with this much HP, it might be a little scary. You got a potion. It might be worth it. It's going to come down to density and routing. One random Vlad found so far. You don't need to get the warps for like that, right? Am I crazy?
You don't need to acquire warps like that. If you unlock the warp in one castle, you have it in both castles.
Yeah, that's another like. That's a small time loss. It's not a lot of time loss, but it's still a 5-second time loss if he does that for every single warp in the game.
And a Varda.
Was that
Renantral just picked up a Varda off of the ground.
Was that just a random drop from a frog?
I think so.
Oh my god. Sometimes the frogs be giving you the best stuff, man.
Which
That's
means
crazy.
that when Renantral finds the Magic Mirror, you know he's going to go fight death immediately.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. I think going for Grand Floon right now makes sense because Grand Floon is locked behind Magic Mirror, and so is Galamoth. So that's 2 checks locked by Magic Mirror. Odds of finding the next progression relic are higher. So I think they're on chain step, what is that, 3 or 4? Because it was Bat.
Magic Mirror, I think, was 4, yeah.
So that means Final Vlad is just something locked behind Magic Mirror, probably. So at that point, you might as well just do density, actually, until you find the rest of the Vlads.
Yeah, I think we're looking for, like, rings.
Yeah, maybe. That is true. And I mean, 5 minimum doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly 5.
Yeah. And I'm sure that the complexity ring is at Spikebreaker location.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. It could be there. Why is there no screen freeze with HP pickups? That's because they are playing in anti-freeze mode. It is a option when creating a random seed on SotN.io that allows you to skip those level up freezes, health max up freezes, relic freezes, all that stuff.
It was a very popular request.
It's nice to have. It's a great quality of life option for sure. Leapstone found. That's the power of the Magic Mirror. You get 2 checks for the price of 1. It's one of the reasons why.
Get another free.
It's the reason why finding the Magic Mirror early matters so much in a race like this.
Yeah.
Where was Mermaid Statue found, actually? Huh?
He found it super early. It was like the 3rd check or something that he did. I don't remember exactly where.
Yeah, I forgot too. And Renan save split away the Varda, actually. Oh.
He save split away the Varda? What?
I mean,
Why?
It makes sense if you went all the way to...
Merman statue, yeah.
It's like, the time save of having a Varda versus not is like difficult to quantify.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it. I don't know.
I do appreciate the
it's a Vlad,
the
though.
idea here that Refined Hornet is demonstrating. Like, let's go through the reverse spike room because I don't need to do blind bat. I can just fly.
True. That is true.
But you have to put up with those 2 ladies, and they are not happy to see you.
The other thing is like, yeah, Ren is doing that check and found a Vlad relic. That's cool and all, but Hornet's going to be able to double up on that location, checking both the Holy Symbol check as well as the Force of Echo check at the same time. And that's just... So every check that Ren does extra at this point is just time loss. until he finds the magic mirror, because Hornet's going to be able to double up on all of those checks.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh man,
And
Hornet's
not
getting a
only
little
that, but
greedy with
Hornet's
these item
also doubling
checks.
up on items too.
Yeah.
He's like,
I mean, I get it. And he finds a library card for it. I was about to say this is a little greedy, but just get rewarded.
yeah.
Keep gambling. You will win. Get it twisted.
I mean, that one spot right there with a magic mirror, 8 item checks right there. Boom.
That
done.
is true. Yeah. I mean, I've never thought of using the magic mirror specifically to look for extra items. Oh, and he gets rewarded too for the MP refill. Custom item added in for this preset. Replaces all the heart max ups for MP max ups. It gives you a total of, was it 3 extra MP?
3 extra MP and refills.
That's pretty huge, yeah. Honestly, I'm considering using that library card, but you still have the density of the caverns to backtrack with. So, but he's deciding the library card now. Okay.
Not a bad choice if you really think about it, though, because like this is spread checks, so he's got 2 checks right here that he can just do.
That is true. And he also has a diamond, so if there's good stuff in the library, like, you could just pay for it. Dude, this is...
money.
This is pretty crazy. Vorpal Blade.
He's buying dinner tonight.
Yeah. People who bet against Ren here also might be buying dinner tonight, because this is looking pretty good. I mean, Ren finds the mirror now, and it's going to come down to whoever has the more efficient routing. I feel like. So basically, at this point, the advantage is now kind of, what's the word? Gone, I guess. It's going to come down to, can Hornet hold on to this advantage as much as possible?
Yeah.
And like continue to maneuver quickly, move quickly, execute on the this advantage. And Ren is also going to find that library card.
Yep. And he's not going to waste time going to the second castle for the item checks.
That's
Which
true.
the second castle items were meh.
Yeah, it wasn't worth grabbing, but like, so he gets kind of lucky there. Gets his MP refill. Doesn't choose the Mana Prism yet, or sorry, library card yet, but that's because he hasn't done Grand Falloon, hasn't done Galamoth. So he's kind of stuck here. He doesn't get the opportunity to library card just yet. He'll probably do it after killing those 2, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
So, oh man, this is tough. This is tough. Let's see here. Yet another check for Hornet. And it's a Vlad relic.
And it's a Vlad.
So that means Ren is likely going to have 3 Vlads after killing Grand Falloon and checking those 2 locations. Is that going to change his routing? Probably. He'll probably go for he'll probably skip some of the more fringe checks and only do higher density checks.
Yeah, like basically he wants to focus on if there's a check at that location in both castles, he's going to want to go there, right?
Yeah. Which means he'll probably skip Force of Echo for sure. I don't even know if Hornet's going to necessarily consider Force of Echo because he's already done Caverns. Just kidding, he's going down. Oh, because he wants to do Creature. That makes sense. Sometimes I'd be forgetting about Creature in Magic Mirror.
Oh, yeah, because, and that's kind of the thing, is it, trying to remember where the Vlad bosses are, right?
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's not just that. It's remembering, oh, I did a bunch of stuff, so I don't need to do it again. And then remembering you have access immediately to the inverted castle at all times. It changes the routing so much. Because, it turns something like Castle Keep, which is a place that has, 3 relic checks, into even more powerful because it's right next to access to, what is it? Medusa, access to Darkwing Bat as well.
Yep.
So it's remembering that those are options as well on top of that is really important. So.
Now in Looking Glass, this preset, goes hard. Now you're trying to remember 69 checks across 2 castles while only navigating 1.
My experience with it, Granted, it was just one seed. It was rough. I think I found Magic Mirror like after 50 minutes or something like that.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Meal ticket, unfortunate. Is this the vibe? Going to Clock Tower from here? I guess he hasn't been to Castle Keep yet, so Hornet is doing it this way. I mean, I'd prefer to do it in the first castle. Second castle, Clock Tower is hell. It's a nightmare. It's awful.
Yep.
Even for experienced speedrunners, it's like, why put yourself through that if you don't have to? Ren opts to not use the library card. Interestingly enough, probably saving it for something else, surely.
Like I said, he's going to go fight death.
That makes sense. Hornet clipped through the floor. Cheater. Glitching.
Cheater!
I can't believe you would clip through the floor.
How dare he?
Oh, but then Ren just clipped inside of a block, so it's fair.
Okay. Well then, that's fine. Ren demonstrating that it's easier to fall than it is to fly.
That is true. I'm a big fan of using the magic mirror specifically. If you don't have gravity boots, like screw it.
Yeah, I'd rather fall than deal with this.
Yeah. Dude, Hornet, you gotta stop, bro. What are you doing? Doubling up on the checks like that, I don't like it. It's just.
But it's 6 item checks now.
It feels so greedy. It feels so. Why are you using Jewel Sword? What are you doing? Wait, he's doing a lot of damage. Did he get the Varda back?
I think he has an Ares on, actually.
Oh. Jewel Sword with Ares? I guess it's fine. But Jewel Sword, really? This isn't the Saturn version where you get bonus damage for equipping a diamond, right?
Nope. I mean, it could be. We can add that as a feature.
That's true. That's true. Oh, what do you need? Another Chrysogram? Oh, another Vorpal Blade? You already have 2.
God. He is doing all the Eldritch checks, and I'm here for it.
This is a lesson that has burned me so many times as a randomizer player. Is you think to yourself like, oh, my equipment's okay, but I could still use a duplicator. I could still use a library card. There is at most 1, maybe 2 duplicators in the seed, depending. Like if one of them's in the library as well, I think you can have up to 2. The odds that you're going to find it are pretty low. So
yeah.
you just kind of like, especially if you have double Vorpal and like Bat and the Magic Mirror, I am a fan of, I'm going to cut my losses. If I miss out on a quadruple S tier item, I already have a bunch of S tier items. I'm fine. Like it probably won't make that much of a difference.
If I have a Holy Sword, I'm probably stopping checks.
Yeah, I think Holy Sword is a decent stopping point. Like, I'll stop checks except for the ones that are like absolutely on the way, like things that require less than a second to check.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's more than a single second to check is not worth it.
Yeah.
Now at the very beginning
if
of the
I happen
game,
to be in the area and there's 5 vases there, yeah, okay.
Yeah, if it can do a quick soul steal, do 5 checks for 1 soul steal or whatever. If I have the MP for it, that's fine. But it's one of those things where like if the check isn't efficient enough, you got to just cut it. It's like the math on it doesn't work out.
You know, it's so funny though because I learned how to skip checks by designing a preset that has no checks.
There you go. That'll do it. Now, we saw that Silver Ring was a Vlad relic, right? So that's going to leave... Oh, we know... No, it wasn't a Vlad relic. What was it? Did we see Silver Ring? I think it was nothing. I'm trying to remember. I think
was that... Are we getting Seed Bleed as commentators?
Oh, it was
no,
Power
it was Power
Mist.
Mist. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because Renontril did it. I was like, I remember seeing Renontril do it, but was that 8 seeds ago?
And then he split it away. But now Hornet gets to keep the Power of Mist, and his MP's low, which means that Mist that he just did right there, incredibly discounted. Instead of costing 20 mana, it only costs like 2. So that's pretty big. We got All Rocks coming up here.
Or Akmadon. I would rather do Akmadon, personally.
And Sword Card, actually. Sword Card is now available.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about it. Yep. Almost forgot about it and is like, wait a minute. I'm forgetting somebody.
Somebody stop him. There's jizz in that hand.
Oh, and it's the Silver Ring? Okay.
Silver Ring,
and
strong location.
And yeah, it's really close to the Holy Glasses location. So like, oh, and he gets another MP refill. Dude, these MP max ups are huge in this preset.
I mean, they're huge in every preset. It's one of my favorite new features.
I mean, just like exploring the castle and being like, oh, I get max MP up and I get a refill. Like these players have been finding them when their MP is low already, and that's just been like pretty massive, all things considered.
I mean, I've seen and heard complaints that it's like, no, 3 is too much to add to the maximum. And I'm like, 3 is just enough because it's not half of a wing smash, but it's also not 1.
Dude, adding 1 would feel so... Like, you would need to find 8 of those to give you 1 extra wing smash? Come on, man. That's a lot for 1 extra wing smash.
Exactly. But if I find 3...
Yeah, that's an extra wing smash and some, you know, a little bit of pocket change as well. Where are you going? Beelzebub, I guess? Trio from this side? What's the vibe?
I actually don't mind this. If you already grabbed the center teleporter and you know that you've got the other one already, why go through all of the extra work?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, this is technically faster to get to Akmadon. Or sorry, not from Akmadon to Trio. This is technically faster.
Yeah, like why give ourselves extra work to do? We don't need that teleporter in the middle because we already have it. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I do think more importantly, it's just more important that we just delete heart max ups. That's actually the best part of the change. Because nothing feels worse.
It doesn't delete them, it adds to them actually, because they still increase your heart max and your hearts.
But there's nothing worse than like breaking open a pot and then grabbing a heart max up on accident because it's like on the way and you like accidentally jump on it and you're like, oh man, I'm wasting time. I mean, these
literally the only reason I put those in.
Yeah, I mean, also they're playing the antifreeze quality of life thing, so like they don't have to necessarily worry about that.
Yeah, like whenever we programmed the MP max in, the only reason I had the idea to do it and the only reason I dedicated myself to the task was because I was like, I'm tired of heart max ups being just a complete drain on every randomizer experience.
Hornet is opting to use the Mana Prism here. Okay. I mean, it's not the worst spot because you needed the MP for this. These wing smashes are not super clean. I would probably switch castles if I was in trouble. Yeah, it doesn't though. And is fine. Gets an MP refill for his troubles. Not too bad, not too bad. Oh, he can't find the Vorpal Blade. He's struggling to find it. There it is.
Interestingly enough, Crazy actually put me onto this. Crazy for Blades. He told us like they were actually planning on putting MP max ups into the game in the base game, and there's a sprite left over for that vessel. They just never implemented it.
Oh yeah, I've seen the sprite before. It looks like a little potion thing that's like rainbow colored. Yeah.
Yeah. So wild.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You got HP as a stat that can be increased. You have hearts as a stat that can be increased. The only other thing on the HUD that's a stat that can be increased is MP, and they just didn't do it. Speaking of MP increases, like we have seen a ton this seed, and I mean, as a player, I'm happy to see them because now all my wing smashes are cheaper. I can do more of them. I don't have to worry about like it. Kind of evens the playing field for people that like get infinite mana via a bunch of mana prisms at the shop or like a duplicator or something. Because that's like
you don't have to constantly seek out save points and
you can go farther without necessarily stopping at a save. Like I don't even think I would stop at this save necessarily. Just go straight to Holy Glasses. Yep. Yeah, from Hornet's perspective, things are looking pretty decent. The only thing is Ren's not that far behind and has an extra Vlad though. Hornet will be the first to check Holy Glasses, and that matters a lot right now. Like Ren is not that far behind. Hornet needs to go to the caverns to find the Heart of Vlad, and the final Vlad needs to be like not too soon, but soon enough where, man, this is tough. I think actually I was liking Hornet's route a lot, But now that he spent too much time not getting that other Vlad, not that he knows, like he doesn't know any better. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
This could be a rough spot.
You know, you run into this situation often in races where it's like, you can't say that any racer particularly raced poorly. They just didn't get lucky.
Oh, but Renan's in a spot where he might die? High potion? Oh, he didn't high potion. High potion? Get out of there. Yep. He was like one hit away from if the axe hit him there, I think he dies. So that was incredibly close. And the thing is we see Tooth of Vlad found at Holy Glasses. Ren has what he needs to go there. He hasn't gone there yet, but like what is stopping him from doing that? Nothing. He's just going straight there. Yeah, he knows that it's a higher complexity location, yeah. And it's right next to, I think that's GG's. It's right next to the end of the game. Wow. I was liking Hornet's route so much, and he found the
mirror first, yeah.
But Ren also not maybe he did count the complexity, but from what I counted, the entirety of or anything that was locked behind Magic Mirror technically could have been the final Vlad, so everything else I think is just random.
Obvious skill issue.
So like theoretically, this is higher than 5 complexity, but yeah, Mirror was layer 4, so therefore everything locked behind Mirror is layer 5.
Yep. Which is most of the castle. Like, most of both castles is locked behind Mirror. When we look at the logic, like, there are so few things that are not locked behind Mirror. Like, they're missed checks or...
Magic Mirror is complexity 6? Oh.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Oh, then never mind. He did count the complexity. I was under the assumption it was 5. Then in that case, this makes a ton of sense. Damn, and that sucks too, because they're both basically getting the final Vlad relic around the same time, but the positioning of where they ended up when they found the Vlad relic mattered so much more.
Yeah, because like Refined Hornet is going to find the hard.
It's so messed up because without the Magic Mirror in this situation, if they both like, imagine you don't get to quickly warp between the castles.
Yeah.
Hornet literally forgot. Never mind, GG's. Never mind, it never mattered because he forgot to check the merman, the holy symbol.
Yep. What?
Well, you know, forget everything I was saying, man. It doesn't matter who gets the mirror first. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you get the mirror first if you end up forgetting. And that's tough, man. Like, also, this is the 3rd seed in a row. Like,
yeah,
it could be fatigue. It could be many things. This is a very complicated preset as well to keep all of those locations in mind at once. Understanding that the castles are accessible at any time amongst each other is really tough. He's probably thinking like, oh yeah, I skipped death before. I should go do death.
Yeah.
So he's just tunnel visioning on the fact that the map will show the places you've been on the tracker, but it doesn't show the other castle. So if you're not remembering that the other castle also has checks there, you're just not going to see it.
But that's kind of the thing, though, is that, like, you know, a lot of people were like, "Are you sure that 3 matches or 3 games in a single day is a good idea?" And I'm like, "Look,
it's not about it being a good idea." I mean, the name of the tournament speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So whether it's a good idea or not is not important.
You're like, let's just take all the good ideas, crumple that up, throw it out the window.
Yep. Hornet did literally every check in the game except for the final one, and then Ren finished. So it's not that it came down to that necessarily, but it's just unfortunate that the route just ended up that way, that was his final check. If he had chose to do Caverns any earlier, that would have been like a massive differential. So
yeah, but that's where it ends. And fortunately enough, this was a short seed, 50 minutes, not bad
for Magic Mirror. No, not at all.
But let's go interview the racers and see what they think about their match.
Oh heck yeah, let's go do that. All right, gamblers, paid out. Ren wins. I really wanted to see. I mean, I was kind of rooting for Hornet as the underdog here, but it was a good match nonetheless. It came down to one check in particular, and man, was that crazy.
Vlad was for you. Let me ask you that.
Is it Holy Symbol?
Yeah, it's at Holy Symbol.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, you did
Yeah,
every other check. Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that like, when I death dropped the life X up, I realized that.
It was a very close race nonetheless. Like, both of you were sitting on 4 out of 5 Vlads, but they were different Vlads for each of you. So it really did come down to just like picking the right path as soon as possible. So Renan, I was going to say Renan counted the complexity properly and had a pretty good understanding of the final Vlad being at Holy Glasses. So that gave him a little bit of an advantage, having already done the merman statue into Holy Symbol check earlier.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the silver ring.
Yeah.
After I fought a fourth Vlad, I need the silver ring, just silver ring. Where is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very close race. Very close race.
Yeah, all of them were very close races. This was probably the best match of the tournament so far. Not gonna lie. Best of 3, obviously.
Yeah.
So, first time that's happened during this particular tournament, and we were happy to see Magic Mirror for what I believe is the first time in the entire tournament. So, it was really exciting to watch that. But GG to both racers. Unfortunately, Refined Hornet, you are eliminated from the tournament. We don't have any consolation prizes except for you did an exceptional job. You gave Renancho more than a run for his money. It just happened to be that he came out on top. So,
each one of those seeds came down to like very, very minor decision-making things that weren't even necessarily, the wrong play, give or take. It was just a matter of go left versus go right in this one spot. And, sometimes it comes down to that, especially at the highest level. Everybody plays so well. So sometimes it really does come down to those coin flips.
Do not walk away from this thinking that you played poorly, because you absolutely did not. We had no commentary on execution or anything. So,
I think I'm gonna lose. I think I'm gonna lose. Yes.
So, we are going to go ahead and advance Renancho to the next phase. He's going to be waiting on the finish of the other semifinals match, and then that will be grand finals. But yeah, thanks for playing, guys, and GG's. Take it easy tonight.
GG's, thank you.
GG.
GG's, y'all. GG's.